Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict episode 652. We're talking Iran War Day 40 and the clash of cultures. And Joe, I'm sorry if Doorkickers and the next Doorkickers is on my mind. I apologize to the people
No,
for
it's just
trying
funny
to
that
move forward on
you
my.
picked right when we said, "Hey, let's go live" to start that discussion, and I was just like, "Okay, well, I'll just
I
read this
thought I thought we
manual."
were still talking about guns because we were. If you remember correctly, we were
Well,
talking about guns.
I picked up this manual while we were doing that, and just started flipping through it and reading it for no reason whatsoever.
The short barrel Browning high power is definitely. I don't know if I would buy one, but I definitely like it. I
One
don't
of
know.
those guns you're glad it exists.
I like it.
but
I
don't
shot
want
I shot a high power late last year, and man, I really like the gun. It's a good gun.
Well, I kind of settled on as my steel gun of choice. I settled on the CZ-75 because it's basically, my understanding is it's a development of the Browning high power. And it's a solid gun. It's one of those kind of things. Once you find a steel gun you like, it's kind of like you tend to. Most people tend to get like attached. We all know they're old guns.
Now I have more steel pistols than polymer, so I'm just saying.
Well, it's because you're just collecting them, right? I mean, they're just fun.
No USB. I've never fired a high point in my life. I mean, I've handled one, but I've never actually gone all the way with it.
I've only bludgeoned people to death with it.
Oh, I've touched one.
high point and high power, not the same.
Joe, how you doing?
I am well and good. It's been an interesting 24 hours. I ask everyone to pray for Alan, who runs the charity here, as he is in the hospital having some surgery. He went in yesterday for some pain, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to hold on to you, and we're going to cut you open in the morning because you have some pretty serious infections." So it would be a minor deal if it was you or I, Scott, but the man is 87 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anytime somebody that age has to go under the knife, it tends to be fairly serious.
Worst thing
even
is,
if it's not serious.
He called me last night pretty upset and asking to make sure we carry on his legacy. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And stop that talk. You're going to be just fine. So hopefully you're all going to come see him this summer.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I've been praying for it.
Watcher, how about you? How's life treating you?
Good. Just man, you ever like, hey, I'm gonna get some projects done, and then every time you sit down to do it, another thing pops up that is like an immediate fire that has to get put out, and then you put the fire out and you go, okay, finally I can get back to that project, and then a new fire pops up.
That's the story of your life.
Well, right? More so in the last 24 hours, because the last 24 hours, it's all been stuff that has to be done immediately, right now, cannot wait. So but apart from that, doing pretty fine.
So I mean, it's been a pretty interesting last 48 hours, right, guys? I mean, we had
news-wise, yeah.
News-wise, it's been pretty interesting, I'd say. Let's see. We were waiting for so Monday morning, we were waiting for the 8 p.m. beginning of, what is it? Bridge and power station day, right? Like,
I've heard it termed infrastructure day, and I do. That does have a civic ring to it,
Yeah, I totally get that. But I guess it didn't go as expected because was it after the commencement, or was it like right before? I mean, it kind of happened during the night my time, so I didn't catch it. What was the timing on like when that big announcement came out yesterday about the
late in the day?
Yeah.
It came about 35 minutes before Iran started bombing Israel.
Yeah, that was the funny part for me, was that the ceasefire was announced, I guess, right around the time when we were supposed to start bombing their infrastructure and whatnot. But then immediately, like literally 3 minutes afterwards, cluster bombs start raining down on Israel, ballistic missiles, you name it. And so that kind of made things a little interesting. But then I guess it has tapered off since then. Like maybe the message was received or whatever. So I guess they're saying that the ceasefire is supposed to be in effect right now. I don't know, Joe. I know for another story that's kind of out of left field for me, at least, was and had me watching some nostalgic video, was the announcement by Argentina that Chile is now backing their push to reclaim the Falkland Islands.
That's what's interesting is they've also support it. Neither of those nations has any jurisdiction whatsoever over the Falklands / Malvinas. And I literally don't care what either of them have to say about it. But it does raise the tension level. They're thinking that the United Kingdom, being a paper tiger right now might be the time to push their claim. But however we might feel about the UK, I want to point out to everyone that the people who live there have voted repeatedly to remain a protectorate of the United Kingdom. And we should honor that. Self-determination is key. And if they want to stay in the status quo, they should be able to. And force of arms should not change that.
I'm a fickle and fly-by-night type of guy. The old UK, I was all for them holding on to but this new and improved UK that has fallen under Sharia law and all this kind of stuff, I don't know. Maybe America needs to come and liberate the Falkland Islands.
You and I don't get an opinion. The people who live there get an opinion, and their opinion matters.
Joe, I'm just making a joke, so I don't know why you would treat me like I was.
You literally just said that I said that they shouldn't use force of arms to take it, and you.
All right. I was making a joke, of course, and because I said that America should take over, but then again, never mind. I thought it was clear it was a joke. All right, moving on. My joke powers are non-existent. Let's see. I guess that just kind of takes us directly into the first odds and ends. Oh, no. We got something funny. Speaking of something that is
funny. We have something funny first.
Yes, we do have something funny. This is suggested by several people in the chat to us. So you guys are starting to get on the same wavelength as us as the kind of things that we...
I'm not going to let you get away with saying it that way. This is significantly better than any of the Lego videos we have shared up to this point. This is
this is clearly like either the propagandists are going rogue and are just like, I want to actually just make views, or other people are getting in on the act and starting to make pro-American versions of these Lego propagandas. So I don't know. Either way, it's pretty damn funny. Let's give it a look.
I think this is just the natural result of when somebody's using AI that doesn't, have marital relations with ghosts.
God is good. He's alive. Go get our boy. One American behind enemy lines. Wounded. Surrounded. We bring him home.
Viper 1-2. Hang in there. We're coming.
I think my favorite thing about some of these is they look like they could be kids. Like the helicopters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday. I said I'd watch that movie.
Coming in danger close.
Look
Keep your
who
heads
it is.
down.
Colonel, Let's go home.
Package secure. Heading to extract.
See, that's how you do a Lego propaganda.
That's right.
That
Don,
is a very
Gentlemen, good morning.
good morning. How are you?
Well, I mean, not dead. In the world's longest case of the man flu, I have survived. So,
Well,
there you go.
I'm taking it.
I mean, we were pulling for you. Watcher, you were saying that some of these look like kits. Yeah.
Yeah, the A10 for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I would buy this. I don't know how accurate it is. I would.
Oh,
Still
it's
buy
not,
it.
but it's hilarious, and I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, who cares if it's all that accurate? It is
I know, right?
A10 in Legos.
It's an A10 Lego. I mean, come on. Anyway, all right. Don, what have you been up to since you recovered from the man flu?
Nothing. That happened like yesterday.
Oh, okay. You've been following. I'm sorry. Like I just kept going down the Lego propaganda, like the replies. They're pretty fucking funny. Have you been following all the various Iran related stuff and just how the world keeps turning?
Probably not as much as I should be. I saw some good civilizational ending posting and a whole bunch of very ass mad people because evidently for the first time in what are we on 10 years now, in fact, given his public life, for the first time in 50 years, we should take all of Trump's hyperbole entirely at face value. He means precisely what he is saying. So it is self-evident that we are going to commit war crimes and kill every man, woman, and child in Iran because we're all retards.
Well, I mean, I knew we were all retards. I just didn't realize it was going to get out that much.
Well, foolish you. The
I know.
social media has removed the capability to hide retardation.
Yeah. All right.
United States
Let's.
Marine Corps most affected.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it. At least one of the Marines said it. You know, I am kind of outnumbered here. Let's see. I'm sorry. There's all these posts that people are sharing that Donald Trump, I guess, just put out. I'm just trying to read between the lines here. You know, it's never super clear.
Well, that's fine. While you're doing that, why don't we show off this first odd and end video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just a normal day.
Just a normal Salvadoran illegal wanted for connection to murder. No big whoop. In his home country is trying to run down ICE agents, and they, I guess, do a mag dump into the guy.
Hey, look, he had spinners.
He didn't have spinners, but now he does.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And nothing of value was lost.
From the background, I'm going to guess either Utah or Nevada.
Maybe Arizona. Let's
Could
see.
be Arizona.
Is this the Sicario music?
I think it is.
Appropriate. Let's see.
California.
Oh, man, that's got to be out there. Actually,
Yeah,
relatively close to 29.
California dreaming, and then he was dirt napping.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is, this guy got what he deserves. I'm just saying.
Play those games, win those prizes.
Exactly right. I mean, it's like I can't find any fault in the actions of the ICE agents in this one. Call me crazy.
Hey, why was it illegal driving?
Sometimes you put ice in the cooler. Sometimes ice puts two in your cooler.
Perfect. Perfect. Why was it illegal driving?
Reference for you. So
That was good. Where did you get that from, Joe?
Why was it illegal driving? California. That's why.
I know, right? I mean,
Because
there'd be like,
illegals are more virtuous and worthy than you. That's why.
Well, yes, California.
all right.
All
Let's
right,
move on to the.
Oh, no updates for us on El Trampola?
Well, no. I'm pulling them aside so I can bring them up
Okay.
when we talk about it in the.
All right. Ready for the next one then? Because this one's
Yeah, this next one is pretty interesting here.
Well, I should we preface this with, hey, do you remember when a friend when when we warned you that maybe arming up Ukraine and specifically a neo-Nazi faction within Ukraine might have far-reaching consequences?
Well, the irony here is that I think the neo-Nazis are probably less Nazi, more just kind of fascist now, and most Ukrainians have like completely moved to where they are.
Yeah.
It just becomes the default setting for almost everybody in that country. Secret Service documents allegedly prove the Ukrainians planned to blow up the Turkish and Blue String pipelines years ago, permanently cutting off Europe from cheap Russian gas. Reports the Magyar Nemet citing report Ellenpont. However, Serbia's intelligence chief is denying that the Ukrainians were the perpetrators, instead claiming that they had reports of a possible attack planned by a certain migrant gang group of radical Muslims, but had not considered it legitimate intel. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Who here has more motivation to blow up that pipeline? Some obscure Muslim terrorists or the Ukrainian special
Or the
operations?
Ukrainian government. Well, here's the craziest part: the Muslim gang was actually Ukrainians.
Yeah. Right. It's the Chechens that are fighting for the Ukrainians.
By the way, I
Serbian.
have to make a public service announcement. Hunch, if you're going to send me photos this early in the morning, your feet need not be in them. Thank you. Carry on.
Don't be gross. All right, continuing on, the Serbian section of the Turk Stream gas pipeline is set to fire. It was set on fire in sabotage operation on Sunday. Since the pipeline supplies Hungary with gas, blowing up the pipeline would have put the country's gas supply at risk. The portal also reported that in response to explosives found near Turk Stream pipeline in Serbia last week, a presenter on one of Zelensky's propaganda TV stations stated if the Ukrainians wanted to blow up the Turkish Stream pipeline, they'd blow it up. President Zelensky has been accused by Budapest. Yeah, so this kind of gets to the next thing. So this pipe. Why this is important? Because we're going to talk about Orban's response to this. The pipeline is essential for Hungary's natural gas supply. As 56% or more than half of the natural gas in our system comes through the Turk Stream pipeline. And that's coming from the Hungarian Foreign Ministry. All right, so let's move on to this next one here, because this is Viktor Orban talking directly about it. I think there are.
Most ért véget a Védelmi Tanács ülése.
Yeah, there's subtitles.
Yeah, so I don't want to read the subtitles. So if you're watching this, just read the subtitles.
Áramlat gázvezeték vajdasági szakaszán szabotázs akciót készítettek elő. Szerbia elnökével egyeztettem. Személyi sérülés nem történt, és a gázvezeték zavartalanul működik. Vučić elnöknek megköszöntem a szerb hatóságok munkáját, a szerbek a gázvezeték védelmét megerősítették. Ennek a vezetéknek a működése Magyarország számára létfontosságú. A magyar gázfogyasztás 60%-át ezen keresztül szerezzük be. Ezért elrendeltük a vezeték magyarországi szakaszának megerősített katonai ellenőrzését és védelmét. A szerb hatóságok nyomoznak, a magyar hatóságok folyamatos kapcsolatban vannak velük. Európa felé egy soha nem látott energiaválság közeledik. Az európai országoknak szükségük van, és még nagyobb szükségük lesz az Oroszországból érkező energiára is. Ukrajna pedig évek óta azon dolgozik, hogy Európát elvágja az orosz energiától. Felrobbantották az északi áramlatot, lezárták a Magyarországra érkező gázvezetéket, idén a barátságvezeték lezárásával olajblokkád alá vették Magyarországot, a török áramlat oroszországi szakaszát pedig katonailag folyamatosan támadják. Ukrajna törekvése Magyarország számára életveszélyt jelent. Magyarország energiabiztonsága nem játék. Meg fogjuk védeni az energetikai rendszerünket, a családok biztonságos ellátását és nemzeti érdekeinket is.
So
That's
I mean,
a legit glove thrown down right there.
yeah, and I guess in other comments, he basically talked about potentially invoking Article 5 as an attack directly on Hungary's interests, potentially. Now, this is not like will do, it's like could do, right?
Funnily enough, that would be the most legitimate invocation of Article 5 that I've heard called for in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, and because it's an actual attack on the interests of a. So this is real quick. This is Putin stated that preparations are underway to blow the Turk Stream and Blue Stream gas pipelines in the Black Sea. Putin also said the nuclear components are alleged to be being considered for use against Russia. I don't know what that means. Hungary declared
dirty bombs.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I thought, but I wasn't quite sure if he was saying that Ukraine would do that. Here's another one, some commentary from a Turkish news channel.
Let me grab that. Oh, it was the one I already had open. Okay, cool. Hold on.
NATO-nak az alapszerződés, az Észak-Atlanti Szerződés, az az állam területet védi. Tehát ha a török áramlatot török területen éri találat, akkor természetesen az Törökországot ért támadásnak tekinthető. Hogyha egy állam tulajdonjogát az állam területén kívül, akkor az nem tekinthető az állam megtámadásának. Ettől még, miután az ukránok láttuk, hogy mit követtek el már eddig, gondoljunk a német vezetékre, az északi áramlatra, amit a németek szó nélkül hagytak, de az is egy terrorcselekmény volt. Tehát illúziónk nem lehet azzal kapcsolatosan, hogy Ukrajna az európai energiaforrásokat és az európai energiabiztonságot is kész bármikor kockára tenni és veszélyeztetni, és ezt megteszi akár hadi eszközökkel is, de a NATO szerződés szerinti védelmi kötelezettség az államot ért támadás esetén áll fenn. NATO-nak...
Germany's over here like, wait a minute. Y'all are worried about your Russian energy infrastructure from Ukraine? Hold on.
The only problem I have with this statement is that NATO must respond to an attack on the state. NATO is not a nation state, so.
And what people, we agree to come to each other's aid, but the problem that nobody wants to ever talk about is even with Article 5, they all have to vote to do it.
It's a voluntary thing. They still can say, no, you're on your own.
Yeah. This does not rise to our understanding of this,
Or apparently, no, you can't even use our airfields, even if you have a legitimate reason to, because we don't like you.
Well, let's be honest. That is a separate from an Article 5 NATO thing. That being said, as an ally who generally shares the same views, you would assume that they would also want the same things, i.e., preventing nuclear proliferation and the attacks on a democratic sovereign nation by ballistic missiles and the murder of the people of Iran. Now, the people of Iran aren't an explicit rationale for this.
I have an actual serious problem with nations who give us basing rights and then tell us what we can and cannot do with those bases.
Right.
Those bases guarantee your sovereignty. And then you're going to tell us what we can and can't do while we are defending your space. Sorry, no.
Joey, it's almost like I'm reminded of a certain speech about the Code Red that, standing on the
you
wall.
want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Deep down in the places you don't talk about at your parties. One of the best movie speeches ever given.
The funny thing is that and we talked about the irony of this when I was in OCS, but we watched that speech at least 2 separate times and the irony of a bunch of future Army officers identifying with the villain of that movie versus the heroes, right? I was just kind of like, I mean, we know who the good guys are. You can just hear.
Yeah. We also know who Hollywood is.
That's right. All right. So let's see. The next thing we're going to talk about here are gun-free zones. Now, so we talked about this the other day because the announcement had come out by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth that they were going to basically have a shall issue policy for U.S. service members on U.S. bases. I personally hope this applies to retirees as well, considering my future
No, I think
status
that he
change.
did specifically mention that.
But this article, it's not too long. I just want to kind of go through it because I think this kind of gives us some red meat to chew on for this. It may sound hard to believe, but except for a very limited group of personnel, the military has treated its bases as gun-free zones. Until Thursday, only designated security forces such as military police could carry firearms while on duty. Commanders punished any other soldier caught carrying a weapon severely, with penalties ranging. Now, let's be honest. They're talking about privately owned weapons. They're not talking about like you would get punished if you're carrying a weapon like your issue weapon or something like that. But even an issue weapon, unless you're an MP, could not be loaded. You couldn't actually transport ammo and firearms in the same vehicle, things like that. So yeah, it definitely was a severe hindrance on liberty, right? So a commander's punished for any other soldier caught carrying a weapon severely, with penalties ranging from rank reduction and forfeiture of pay to court-martial, dishonorable discharge, criminal conviction, and even imprisonment. That changed with a statement from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Before today, it was virtually impossible. Okay, so we saw this statement the other day. Consider the attacks on Holloman Air Base 2026, Fort Stewart 2025, Naval Air Station Pensacola 2019, Chattanooga Recruiting Station 2015, both Fort Hood shootings 2014 and 2009, the Navy Yard, I remember that one, 2013. Across these attacks, 24 people were murdered and 38 wounded. I think 23 were in the Nadal attack at Fort Hood. In each case, unarmed personnel, including JAG officers, Marines, and soldiers, had to hide under I almost wanted to put hide under their desk while the attacker continued firing. Yet the military deployed U.S. troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was required that they carry their weapons at all times, even on base. Those soldiers needed to defend themselves against real threats, and there are no known cases of them turning those weapons on each other. The policy worked. Soldiers carried firearms without creating internal violence. Let's see. So why make it easier for attackers to target troops at home? Why force soldiers like those at Fort Stewart to confront armed attackers with bare hands? It's almost like if that ROTC officer had been armed in the Old Dominion shooting recently, maybe he would have, lived versus died.
Oh, but he was armed. He had a knife.
Well, I mean, don't let the school find out he had a knife, Joe. He probably would have. Right? It wasn't always like this. In 1992, the George H.W. Bush administration started reshaping the military into a more professional, business-like environment. That shift led to tighter restrictions on firearms. In 1993, President Clinton rewrote and implemented those restrictions. You don't say that Clinton, in his first year in office, took your right to keep and bear arms away on post. Exactly. That shift, yeah, I know, right? Let's see. Effectively banning soldiers from carrying personal firearms on base. If civilians can be trusted to carry firearms, military personnel certainly can. And as Hegseth noticed, uniformed service members are trained at the highest and unwavering standards. Why would a soldier risk severe penalties? Because those penalties do not deter attackers.
I would take this a step further and say, hey, if you're in a combat arm, you should be carrying a government-issued weapon at all times.
Yeah,
or have one in your barracks room, all that stuff. I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean back in any time before Clinton when we had rifle racks in barracks rooms.
Yeah. Well, the irony is that when everybody has a weapon, then it's like nobody tries to steal them. Now you could have like, okay, if you're back in your room, your barracks room, and you have a weapon, then it can't just be hanging out. You've got to securely store it when you're not like in personal possession of it. That would make sense. There are some kind of reasonable kind of controls that you could put in place, but nothing that would prevent them from keeping and bearing arms when they're, conducting their daily business on post.
I don't know how the Army works, but I mean, like, to this day in Marine Corps boot camp, once you get issued a rifle, there's a rack at the end of your rack. Well, okay, when I say to this day, I mean 20 years ago or whatever when I enlisted. But there's a rack at the end of your rack. There's a cable and a whole bunch of a lock and bullshit to secure your weapon, which is what we used to do everywhere all of the time. There seems to be some belief, and I don't mean to just drag on you, Scott, here, but I've heard this for years, that like when the military let you keep a weapon in your barracks room, I guess everybody was just getting drunk on Friday and lighting off rounds full auto in the barracks parking lot, and like we were throwing hand grenades at trash cans or something. I don't know, but this is basically what everybody seems to think.
Yeah, I mean the irony is that I don't think that they ever had the government weapons in unit rooms. Those were always in arms rooms. I remember at basic training we had in the 90s we had I think weapons, if I remember correctly, at least for a period of, I'm trying to remember if I'm anyway, it's like the whole like sleeping with your weapon and all that kind of stuff like that is a thing, right? That was more of a training environment versus like, living on post barracks, but that being said, if you've got 10 guns, you should be able to have your 10 guns in your barracks rooms. Now,
listen, I'll tell you, as a MP, we used to have a section in the MP station where anyone on base who had a privately owned firearm had to store their firearm at the MP station.
Yeah,
and it was bad.
Well, so the way it is now, right? So if you're a soldier with, let's say you own 10 firearms, right? You can have those 10 firearms. The problem is you can't store them in your barracks room, right? You have to go into your unit arms room, and the unit arms room has to have a place for privately owned weapons. And usually it's only one. And even in Korea, it's that way, right? Like if you PCS to Korea, you don't have a way to store. Like they won't let you do storage, like long-term storage. They won't let you bring firearms. So your firearm has to come to Korea in a locked case and then travel from the airport still locked under guard, and then it gets put in the arms room. But you don't get to, because you're in Korea, you don't get to have access to it until you PCS, which is bullshit.
By the way, it just struck me that you're wearing the San Diego hat, and I had that comment from reading Land and Sea Paradise last night.
Yeah.
I noticed that the dad was wearing a San Diego hat.
There was no way I'm not gonna like drop a little thing like that. Maybe you called that an Easter egg. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's got just as bad a taste on baseball teams as I do. All right. Anyway, let me continue on here. If civilians can be trusted with firearms, military personnel certainly can. Let's see. Why would you ask a soldier to risk such severe penalties? Because those penalties do not deter attackers. Someone planning to murder fellow soldiers will not stop because of gun laws. Most masked attackers expect to die during the assault, so the threat of additional punishment carries no weight. Even if they survive, they already face multiple life sentences or death penalty. But those same rules weigh heavily on law-abiding soldiers. A soldier who carries a firearm for self-defense risks becoming a felon and destroying his or her future. These policies disarm the innocent while signaling to a determined attacker that no one else will be armed. Military police guard base entrances, but like civilian police, they cannot be everywhere. Military bases function like cities, and the MPs face the same limitations as police when responding to mass shooting off base. Joe, when you were an MP, did you ever have some sort of like active shooter kind of training back then? Was that a thing?
Well, yes and no. I did because I was on the base SRT, but the average military police patrol officer had a threat response plan, which was basically hold the perimeter until the SRT gets there.
Yeah.
So
uniform officers are easy to identify, and that gives attackers a real tactical advantage. Attackers can wait for an officer to leave the area or move on to another target. Either choice reduces the chance of an officer that will be present to stop the attack. If the attacker strikes anyway, then whom do you think is the first target? Research shows that civilians with concealed handgun permits are more likely to stop an active shooting attack. By contrast, although police stop fewer attacks, attackers kill them at much higher rates. Police are 12 times more likely to be killed.
I'll give you the statistic on that. When a civilian intervenes in an active shooter situation, the average deaths are 2.
Yeah.
If law enforcement intervenes, the average deaths are 14.
Yeah.
So
in both that point and what Joe was saying, this is the product of the freaking European mindset that is like, oh, well, we keep guys with guns on hand so that if something ever goes wrong, they can magically teleport to the problem. It turns out that teleportation apparently requires about a dozen people to die.
Like after the second Fort Hood attack, Army Chief of Staff General. Oh yeah. So this kind of shows you where Mark Milley's head is on this, right? If you had any questions about how liberal he is, Mark Milley said at the time he was Third Corps commander, he testified to Congress, "We have adequate law enforcement on those bases to respond. Those police responded within 8 minutes, and that guy was dead." But those 8 minutes proved to be too long for the 3 soldiers who were murdered and the 12 others who were wounded, right? This is exactly the point you were talking.
some of you may die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Willing to take. But the soldiers may start killing their senior officers. Well... Okay.
Sounds like a skill issue. Get good.
I'm not going to comment on that. Time after time, murderers exploit regulations that guarantee that they face no armed resistance. Diaries and manifestos of mass public shooters show a chilling trend. They deliberately choose gun-free zones, knowing their victims can't fight back. While we don't yet know if the Fort Stewart shooter made those same calculations, his actions fit a pattern in dozens of other cases. It's no coincidence that 93% of mass shootings happen in places where guns are banned. Shocking. I mean, amazing. Allowing trained service members to carry on base restores the basic ability to defend yourself and others when the seconds matter most. Yep. I agree with this. Here in Korea, what's kind of galling to me is, who is armed with American firearms? The Korean rent-a-cops.
Of course they are.
And these people, okay, there may be some ex-cops in there. Okay, whatever. You say what you will about Korean cops, but I know for a fact that because some of the youth of some of these people show me that they probably have never fired a gun until they got that job in their entire lives. And I've heard some stories about when the rent-a-cops go to the range in order to qualify annually. It ain't fucking pretty.
Well, listen, I want to point out that this article is written by John Lott. John Lott has a great book called More Guns, Less Crime. But his history is more important than what he's written because he was originally a liberal who began his study on more guns equaling more crime to try and prove that more guns was the problem.
Right.
And by the time he was done reading actual crime statistics, he was like, absolutely every person in America should own a gun.
Yeah.
Because he learned that the opposite was true. The more guns there were in a particular area, the less likely there was to be a crime because of fear of a response.
Yeah, the irony is like he's like the best kind of person to carry this torch because he started it as somebody who disagreed with the premise, right?
Absolutely.
And he found out through looking at the truth that carrying a gun and being armed and the ability to keep and bear arms is so important. I want to apologize. We had a super chat a while back. I didn't want to lose the head of steam there. American Dreamer 5867. I hope that's not your last four of your social. For $10 said, appreciate your perspective, guys. Hey, we appreciate your support of the channel. Thank you very much. You guys don't have to give anything to the channel. We do this completely free. But when you guys do provide monetary support like that, it really means a lot. What is this, Scott? Video from Korea of rent-a-cop training was tagged in CFC fan chat. What did I miss?
What?
What are the odds of that?
I'll be honest with you. I can't keep up with everything that's going on in the CFC fan chat. You guys are very active on there. I always get good stuff on there, but sometimes I miss some stuff. I did. Here's what I did see that was in there. And guys, this is not an official odds and ends. Did you guys see the Gavin Newsom's wife? Recalls telling prisoners at San Quentin about running over and killing her sister with a golf cart. So you got to be fucking kidding me. She said that she wasn't hold on a second. She wasn't punished because it was an accident, but that the prisoners are doing life even though theirs was probably an accident too.
Fun fact: whole thing's a lie. The sheriff's department, who keeps records of who comes and who speaks, says, no, that never happened. You never did that.
Shocking. Truly shocking information.
I know that she would lie. Can you believe that she would lie about that, guys?
Crazy.
I mean, why would you fucking say that?
Because they're trying to start prison riots. No, let's be honest, because they're communists and they're trying to destabilize the society and they're on the rapid path. Like we're losing and we don't see any other way out. So we're going to try and do everything we can to kick it off right now.
Was she actually in a prison, like saying that though?
No. For what I understand, the sheriff's like, you've never even visited. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. All right. So she made up the entire story. Did she actually kill her sister with a...
Probably.
Oh, no idea. Somebody said there's no records on that. So who knows? Maybe she just admitted to a crime.
I was gonna say she probably actually did do that.
No, she did actually run over her sister when they were very young.
Yeah. What is a tragic accident she's like making light of to say that these prisoners should, but she never...
For one, I think she should just keep right on talking because she's single-handedly destroying her husband's campaign.
Well, I tell you what, man, that I don't see how that campaign ever goes anywhere. I mean, that guy, yeah. All right. By the way, I did see,
because we should pause there for a minute because he is basically Bill Clinton in 1991 right now.
Oh, wow. You know?
Yeah.
With a no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to get attacked.
I mean, there's a few less discussions of methamphetamine transportation, but otherwise, it's pretty much Bill.
Yeah, swap meth for coke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
You know, what did he say? I'm trying to remember the line. It rhymes, you know.
Yeah, just to do some clip on her wanting to re-educate boys. We have to do everything in our power to make sure boys don't grow up as conservative.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen some numbers recently, and I guess some of this came from CNN, but that are basically saying that, listen, whoever thinks that the Democrats have gotten all this stuff in the bag by looking at the Trump's approval numbers, or not looking at the individual races and the overall voter sentiment that is very negative on the Democrats. So I think that the Democrats have a shot to actually snatch victory from or snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Well, I think like a lot of others, they're so fixated on Trump, they don't realize that the local elections and the midterms are not really that much about Trump.
Yeah, he ain't on the ballot. You know, right. You got to win on your own merits on this. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where that goes. Yeah.
So that is a product of that whole sentiment is a product of I don't know, at least 30, 50 years of well, the midterms are a referendum on the president, right? Which think back, you have heard only a billion commentators say that, regardless of whether or not it's true. It is what gets said. And so you get this both positive and negative, depending on who is running and what commentator you're listening to, right? So, when Bush loses the House or something in the midterms, then it's this is a referendum on the president and his wars, all this, that, and the other. And when Obama loses, the House, it's this is
ignorant people in those flyover states.
Yeah, exactly, right. And those morons and how they hate progress, right? Which is the same thing, just tailored to leftist rhetoric. Realistically, the statistical probability is the Republicans lose the House and the Senate, because that has happened all but something like 3 times in a century.
Yeah. I guess the question is whether or not they keep the Senate, and I think it's looking increasingly like they do keep the Senate, but we'll see. We'll see. I think you're right. We may be at the mercy of large numbers and all that kind of whatnot. All right, let's do the last. Guys, I don't know if you saw this one. I of course, having lived in Turkey recently, I always hate to see this kind of stuff. That being said, it doesn't surprise me when you see this kind of stuff. So this is 2 brothers, I guess, and another guy. So 3 terrorists are dead in a shooting in Ankara or Istanbul, Turkey. The interesting thing here is, I guess they were armed with a pistol and shotguns. These are semi-automatic shotguns, is my guess. Is there any sound on this one?
Not much. There's a little bit, but it's mostly like there's a little bit of sound as people talking, and then there's a little bit of gunshot, but not much. Oh. Can we go back?
That guy became a floppy pretty quick.
Winged him.
Yeah, there were shots being fired at the time he went down, so it makes it look like he caught one. They tried using Turkish semi-autos and wound up dead. Predictable. Now, evidently,
there's one down over there in front of the other vans.
Evidently, these are all weapons that are available on the civilian market, and that guy's dead. That guy is almost
They've got him
dead.
Surrounded. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I think the one that was running over here, this guy is not on their side.
Yeah, I think he's one of the police guys, or
yeah. Oh, nice effeminate floppy wrist there, boy.
Well, he had a single hand on it. He didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that guy's. That guy, I think that's the one who went floppy when he was running across.
Yeah.
You know, every time I see these street shootouts like this, I always think back to the North Hollywood shootout. Oh, he went down there. They got him.
That one.
Yeah, I'm always reminded of the North Hollywood shootout, which was freaking like unbelievable. Yeah. Look, he's shooting under the van. Is that guy in the prone? No. That guy wasn't in the prone. That was one of the guys that was dead. It looks like
It's Turkey. They're not above firing an anchor shot.
I was gonna say, at this point.
Anyway, so this is Joe. This is the kind of thing that I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Antifa and maybe some of the Islamic terrorists in the states use. I mean, the best way that they can attack us is to first and foremost buy guns legally through the primary or secondary market. And then use. Because then that would actually give the Democrats even more ammunition. Oh, these are legally purchased. If we had gun control, you wouldn't have been able to get those. Well, it was illegal to shoot people up, and the death penalty didn't prevent them from doing that. So, it kind of goes back to the whole thing that you're never completely safe against people who want to kill people. Terrorist attacking Constantinople traditionalists, I guess. I see. Oh.
I think there's a $1 Rumble rant up
there. Yeah. Lance Corporal Veteran for $1 says, never deny the potential of any candidate with a good hair and being under 60. Yeah, he's talking about Gavin Newsom. I don't know. I'm not enamored with Gavin's hair.
While I agree with his sentiment, Gavin Newsom is probably the most unlikable character on the planet.
The bloom is off the rose. I think if he had run in 2020, he would have won.
Yes. Well, and I'll tell you why. Well, maybe not 2020. I don't know. So
I'm saying before COVID. COVID is what made him known nationwide and made his name dirt.
I think that you're misidentifying what actually made him known nationwide. It wasn't COVID, I don't think. What made him known is long form content like podcasts taking off where you can't hide, because he was the perfect politician for a 30-second spot or a 5-minute spot. But the second you get that man on a long form interview or have to make him have to come up with people to bring on episodes all the time, he constantly exposes himself. Constantly.
Well, so I don't disagree with you. He only looked worse, but that's because he continued to put his foot in his mouth with those longer appearances. But like the whole French Laundry thing just exposed his hypocrisy. I had heard from friends that still lived in California at the time. They were just like, everybody hates him now and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff.
And look, there are a few things, because this is where I spent all of my years on the internet and many before. So one, the long form thing hurts Gavin a lot because it hurts basically every politician a lot.
Right.
It is very, very easy to just shout, I am for all the good things and none of the bad, which is what every politician has done in your entire life. And the practical reality of that is that as a country, we have about, pick your numbers, but it's between 20 and 30% who always vote Democrat, 20 and 30% who always vote Republican, 20 and 30% who don't vote at all.
Ever.
And then the remainder is what elections are actually about.
Yeah.
And so a decent political discussion to have, which I know no one ever wants to have, is whether or not that, remaining, what is that, like 10 to 30% or 10 to 40% is so pissed off over things like the Iran war and high dollar gas, which, by the way, high dollar gas has been a notorious political mover forever. that they are perfectly willing to vote for something like Newsom as opposed to J.D. Vance, because Vance holds some culpability for what happened under the Trump administration. If you don't believe that, look at Gore trying to run against Bush. Most of what got Gore any complaints or attention was either his absolutely, radical bullshit climate change nonsense or anything that Clinton screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah. To think that the misdeeds of the previous administration don't stick to the vice president. That's one of the reasons why I think that if he had run for president against Biden in 2020, I think he would have won, because he didn't have any kind of real major, like anything hanging over his head that like meta issues, it's like his problems were problems that all Democrats had at that point, not like Gavin Newsom
think
problems.
that identifies your naivete, because the 2020 election was ordained. There was no voting actually involved.
Oh, I totally
that.
agree. I totally agree. I guess my point is that, like, if they had an actual, election and everything like that in the primaries and a transparent process, which is what we're supposed to have, then yeah, he could have won. But he was basically promised the next at bat after Biden was done, is what I think. And then, but he has subsequently fucked it up to the point where I don't think he can win the presidency at this point. Right. Let's move on to this. Let's see. Yep, that was the last one. Joe, you want to talk a little tactical-wisdom.com?
We certainly can. I really need you all to sign up for a class or buy a book. It would be very helpful, because I like to eat, and eating is fun. And if you don't buy books or sign up for classes, I don't get to eat. It's pretty simple. Anyway, check out the schedule. I flipped some things around based on classes that are happening. If you're looking at coming out here in June for our big spring training week, I flipped around and put a fieldcraft class June 9th through 11th. I know it's the middle of the week. But that's because that weekend, Kay from Combat Studies Group is going to run his patrolling fundamentals class. And if you wanted to get in a week of solid training where you learn individual movement, camouflage, setting up shelters, land navigation, and then rolled that into his patrolling fundamentals course, you will learn a whole lot of good stuff. Just like there are several of you in the chat who can testify to taking my fieldcraft just before the scouting course. It really is a big help to do those back to back because one reinforces the other. So I just kind of moved around the order a little bit. If you come out here in June, you're going to have fieldcraft beforehand. Then we're going to have, you got your choice that first weekend of the 12th through the 14th of NC Scouts RTO course or K's patrolling fundamentals course. I'll be in that one. And then the 15th through the 17th, we're going to run SIGINT out here, which is a fantastic course. And then I'm going to run community security ops afterward. So really, if you come out here for a full week, you're going to get the opportunity to take up to 3 or 4 classes that will really round you out as a well-trained operator and getting you started. Come and join us then. But I've got classes all this month and all the way through May. Come on out and take something. I've had a couple people ask me about single-day land navigation. It's there on May 30th, $200. Come out and spend a day with a map and a compass in a beautiful Flathead National Forest, Bob Marshall Wilderness, and we'll teach you how to do it. We also have a lot of basic pistol classes. Like next weekend, I have one coming up. It's a good training thing. Hey, Squishy Hunter points out that fieldcraft followed by scout and recce is the GOAT. It's the way to go. And that will happen out in North Carolina next fall. So check out the training classes, sign up for something, come out and take a class, come hang out with us. I've got some people who I've been chatting back and forth with this one lady. They're actually staying almost 3 weeks this summer. They're going to come to the War Lizard Tactical class on July 18th and 19th. Then they're going to stay the week. and attend Mountain Readiness July 24th through the 26th. And then they're staying for the Radio Made Easy class the 27th and 28th. So they'll be here for most of the month of July. So you all have that opportunity. Come on out here and hang out, get things done. And speaking of, Mutually Assured says there's plenty of those old MREs you can eat. I am reviewing the video right now. Watcher wanted me to make sure it was good before we put it out. So good stuff. Take a class. Come on out.
Very good. All right. Let me catch up on these super chats real quick before we continue. Lance Corporal Veteran for $1 said, anyone notice the trend of family-related terrorist attacks? Yeah. So like the Australian shooting, the Bondi Beach shooting was like a dad and his son. This was two brothers involved in this one. So yeah, this is the family that shoots together dies together, I guess. I guess. Squishy Hunter for $1 says, in the current ideological Cold War, journalists are co-belligerents. Did you guys see that the Iraqis released the Popular Mobilization Front released that lefty journalist, and she claimed that she got all this. She had a forced confession before she was released, and had to basically say that she had received all this training for the United States military. Which I know for a fact that she was not given that, unless she's unless she's a CIA agent or something like that.
Then she'd been trained by the CIA.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like. Anyway, I just don't think that she is the type of person who would be a CIA agent. All right. Moving on to the brush beater ad portion of the show. In the midst of a fragile 2-week ceasefire in the Iran war, the United States and Israel strikes paused, but the tension's still high after the death of the Supreme Leader Khamenei and weeks of devastating conflict. The clash of cultures inside America continues to deepen. Radical Islam's fundamental incompatibility with Western values is fueling the growth of domestic strife. Parallel societies, demands that erode our freedoms, and the very real risk of street-level conflict as foreign extremist ideologies clash with American communities. With these cultural fault lines erupting and normal communications breaking down, you need independent, reliable tools to stay connected and in control. Brushbeater Store delivers exactly that with the powerful Radtel RT950 Pro, a high-performance handheld radio featuring a built-in spectrum analyzer to scan and monitor frequencies for early warning and unusual activity. It offers multi-band coverage, including CB, ham, GPS for coordination, and strong transmission power to keep your family, group, or neighborhood linked securely when cell networks fail or become unreliable amidst rising domestic tensions. Back it with the RTO Operators Course, 3-day course, intensive field-proven training that teaches you how to create SOIs from scratch, manage frequencies under pressure, run secure group comms, and operate effectively in a high-threat or austere environment. This turns good gear into a real capability when cultures clash, spill into the American streets. Get the RT950 Pro and build your net at brushbeater.store/collection/handheld-training, handheld-radio-HT, and enroll in the RTO course at brushbeater.store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt. And Brushbeater Store for powering the Council on Future Conflict as the Iran war simmers and the clashes of cultures threaten domestic strife right here at home. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and build the connection capable security presence your community needs. All right, back to the show. Oh, we got real quick. We got another Mega Mob Ass 999 says, I had a question / thought. What is the OU over under on whether or not the SNR mission of the Wizzo was a botched uranium caper or just
It's zero.
Zero.
It's zero.
None.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it's liberal
It's
coke.
actually less than zero.
Right here's the thing. In order to turn this into a failure, you have to assume that there is some other reason for this entire operation, right? And then you could say, oh, if there's another reason for it, then it's a total failure and Donald Trump looks stupid. That's what you can say, right? So don't get it in your skull that that is a thing. It is not. I think it's on the. It's kind of like Occam's razors. The most likely answer is the correct one, and it's the most likely one is they just got lucky, shot one of our guys down, and we got him back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's of the many things that do not line up, and there are many equipment mismatches and team mismatches are among the things that stand out.
Yeah, so we talked about this on Monday's show. They're trying to show pictures of a burnt body inside some wreckage.
Oh, a car.
But that's a wreckage of a car.
Yeah.
So it is not that it's all propaganda on that side. So,
And let me address another thing in the chat. Squishy Hunter, this time we'll assault down the hill. Listen, we don't let you assault down the hill because you learn how much it sucks assaulting uphill. If you can assault uphill, you can assault downhill much easier. So,
yeah, we didn't think that you were like going on a conspiracy tip or anything. It's just one of those kind of things. You know, we appreciate that we're here to help squash this kind of stuff.
and listen,
so
we
you
might
guys
be
can
a
get
little snarky about it because we get that question like 37 times a day. And
we have all commented on our X posts about that to numerous people, and so the good news is it seems to have died for the most part. I haven't really seen much of it in the last 24 hours on X. So. All right. Let me just be honest. I've never gotten hurt assaulting up a hill. That I have gotten hurt assaulting down a hill.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
And so Squishy points out that during the thing, you already assaulted up the hill because they have to assault up one hill, take the camp, then come down and go up the next hill and take the other camp. You assaulted up a hill, not the hill. You have to keep coming. And the worst part is that Matt's, after you assault up one hill, go down into the valley, assault the next hill, and we call the index, you then have to walk up another hill just to get back to camp. And it sucks. But it's fun.
And just to, you guys are feeling a little gung-ho. Remember, it's hard on the bodies of the freshly recruited out of high school young teenagers that we ask to do it. You're not that age anymore.
Nor did you just spend 8 weeks getting in shape before you got there.
I wonder why I'm always on the op for, because I get to lay there and wait for you to come and then die right where I am. I don't have to do all that running and climbing that you all do.
Y'all wonder why I always volunteer for the op for.
I just got to shoot a few rounds and die. Although I'll be honest, that last time on Op 4, Hunch and I made quite the stalk on the students, and it involved us climbing up some hills pretty quickly to get ahead of the students, and then low crawling a very long way. So it was a good time.
Hey, Joe, things start to become more apparent about that Australian SAS guy that they put in jail once you realize that, like Pete Hegseth, apparently he has the Jerusalem cross on his chest. So this guy is everything they fucking hate.
And listen, everyone's talking about that one, but the UK arrested 3 SAS members from the Troubles a few weeks ago. So... yeah. I mean, we're talking 50 years ago, and they arrested them.
That's fucking crazy. I didn't know Brent Bozell was the ambassador of South Africa. Did you guys know that?
Who?
The journalist Brent Bozell. He's the South African ambassador. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, if I'm honest. Yeah. All right.
You could do the funniest thing ever. I'm just saying, if I were the president or if I were the ambassador to South Africa, I'd be spending my time amongst a very specific group of people with my cell phone constantly out.
I guess I just caught him in my timeline making comments about the kill the boar comments.
There you go. Sounds like he's on the same page.
Right.
Let's see. The position of my country is that it's wrong. It's hate speech. The position of civilized world is that it's hate speech. Judges can be wrong. Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Let's move into Iran war. Evidently, hey, I've got several more links to drop, so I'm gonna just kind of pass them here to you in the private chat, Watcher.
You want them first?
Yeah. Because it's the actual ceasefire agreement from a couple different points of view, and I just thought it would be interesting to kind of compare notes on these. So the first one is the Pakistani Prime Minister, I guess. With the greatest humility, I am pleased to announce that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America, along with their allies, have agreed to an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon and elsewhere, effective immediately. By the way, Israelis dropped over 100 bombs yesterday on Lebanon. I warmly welcome the gracious, sagacious gesture and extended deep gratitude to the leadership of both countries and invite their delegations to Islamabad on Friday, April 10th, 2026, to further negotiate for a conclusive agreement to settle all disputes. Both parties have displayed remarkable wisdom and understanding and have remained constructively engaged in furthering the cause of peace. Just some irony to that, considering the last month. Engaged in furthering the cause of peace. We earnestly hope that the Islamabad talks succeed in achieving sustainable peace and wish to share more good news in the coming days. Here's what I hope. I hope this is a ploy in order to get all the remaining leaders to talk on cell phone and wireless networks so that we can get a position on their location and then drop the final set of bombs.
Yeah, that was my thought, was like, hey, so if you have low-level people at the power plants of bridges keeping the civvies on the X, right? You don't want your high-level guys out there. They're not going to want to stand out in the sun all day. So your high-level guys are going to be where? In an air-conditioned room somewhere, all hanging out together.
By the way, did you notice how thin those lines of supporters, regime supporters were?
Yes.
Basically, they took the families of IRGC members and just tromped them out there and said, "Okay, you guys are going to be human." And they had printed up banners for them and everything to hold. It was pretty ridiculous. All right. By the way, did I have one more? Nope. I think I got them all. Okay. So the next one up is the White House statement. Watcher. Yeah, you've already got that one. That's
Yep.
the next one in the private chat.
Oh, yeah. Crap. There we go.
All right. So this is from President Donald J. Trump, makes a statement on Iran based on the conversations with Prime Minister and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing with the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for that doing so is that we already exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with the definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and the peace of the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran, and we've got that too, and it's a doozy. And I believe it is a workable basis for its to negotiate, meaning I agree with none of it, but it gives us a place to start. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. I thought that was funny. Consummated. Does this him bending them over the desk and fucking them? On behalf of the United States of America as president and representing the countries in the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Gentlemen, what is your take on this, on what we got here from President Trump and the and I guess Pakistan?
I'm sorry, I'm having bad issues. I'm cutting out. I might have to restart.
Well,
Joe, Don, were you able to hear me?
Yeah, in the world of providing cover for watcher restarting, the problem with all of this is that we have spent so much time without particularly great, clear objectives that so much stuff seems just like a delaying action at this point. And this is kind of the same problem. Okay, so there's a 10-point plan that maybe we could talk about. Is that 10-point plan total surrender? Because 2 weeks ago, that's what was required. Is it just we surrender 10 times over? Because supposedly that's what it needs to say. There's nothing concrete to walk around with, in any of this. Like, oh, we're destroying some military infrastructure. Okay, well, every 3 days we get told that military infrastructure has been destroyed. So is it destroyed and we won? It's all time to, go down to the bar and drink some beer and high five each other about how badass we are. Because if it is, I'm in. If it's not, then I just want to know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a copy of the 15-point plan because I've got the 10-point plan from Iran. Let's see. Hold on a second. I think I've got the 10-point plan here in the actual notes. Oh yeah. Okay, so this first one is the 10-point one. Let me play this. All right, here we go. This is the Iranian 10-point plan. All right. Let's see. Just in, Israel launches the largest attack against Iran-backed Hezbollah since the operation began in Lebanon. Netanyahu says the ceasefire does not include Lebanon. They are going berserk. The Israelis have launched a series of airstrikes across Beirut. The IDF is describing this as the largest attack against Hezbollah since the operation began. The 2-week ceasefire does not include Lebanon. So this is Iran's peace plan right here. Let me see. I haven't listened to this yet. Let's see what it says.
Seated by the Iranians, having to do with the fundamental commitment to guaranteeing a non-aggression pact with the regime, and additionally, Iran's control of the Strait of Hormuz, accepting that Iran can enrich uranium. It appears that point is now void.
Okay, the U.S. must fundamentally commit to guaranteeing non-aggression. Okay, so that's what the whole point of a ceasefire is, right? It would be a permanent version of that. Continuation of Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. That's a fucking non-starter.
Yeah, that's negative.
That is not going to happen. All right. Number 3, acceptance that Iran can enrich uranium for its nuclear program. I mean, we've been down that fucking road before.
Well, and here's the thing. We literally said one of our stated objectives is to destroy their ability to do so. We would not then suddenly go back on that.
Exactly right. Removal of all primary sanctions on Iran. Well, I mean, I think if Trump gets ultimately what he wants, and while he's not saying regime change, I think he means regime change. I think that is totally doable, right? Getting rid of the sanctions. Number 5, removal of all secondary sanctions against foreign entities that do business with Iranian institutions. Once again, if you had a functional government that wasn't completely a terrorist state, then that's probably not a problem. Let's see what else they say.
Following the president's post on Truth Social and the removal of primary and secondary sanctions on Iran. A little bit further, broader ceasefire in Lebanon. But we can report right now that the Israelis have just launched a series of airstrikes across Beirut. The IDF is describing this as the
All right, here's the next 6 or the next 5. Ending all United Nations Security Council resolutions targeting Iran. Well, I mean, once again, if we get a non-terrorist state in Iran, then that's no problem. End of all International Atomic Energy Agency resolutions on Iran's nuclear program. Well, outside of the fact that you can't fucking have a nuclear program, then I guess that's okay. But that would be contingent on the fact that you remain non-nuclear. Compensation payment to Iran for war damage. Go fuck yourself. Withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from the region. Well, that ain't gonna fucking happen. And a ceasefire on all fronts, including Israel's conflict with Hezbollah and Lebanon.
Which Israel says is not the case, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, basically, Israel has the ability to continue to go after, organizations that continue to attack it. So I don't know what. I mean, Israel, like every country, has an inherent right of self-defense.
Correct.
Let's see what else we got here.
It began overnight. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreeing with President Trump in a post on X, saying Israel also supports the U.S. effort to ensure that Iran no longer poses a nuclear, missile, and terror threat to America, Israel, Iran's Arab neighbors, and the world.
So, I mean, that pretty much goes in line with what Trump has said previously, that basically nuclear weapons is a complete deal breaker. And nuclear development of any kind. I think you could probably make a deal for like a light water reactor or something like that. But that would be that would not be something that could be used to enrich uranium. Watcher, are you back now?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Because what was happening before is it would just randomly cut out for long periods, and then I'd come back and be like, "Oh, that's a whole conversation I missed." So we'll see.
All right, Don, what's your kind of take on this? I mean, this is Trump is pretty. He's pretty famous for how he negotiates. And Watcher, I think you were talking about, like, if you want to understand him, you read his fucking book, and he always starts crazy and just absolutely over the top, and then comes to some place in the middle.
Yeah, well, that's been the long-term decent take on Trump, is that he is going to ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars, and he just wants the moon. All right, and you guys, whoever he's negotiating with tends to be like, well, okay, the commentators lose their mind immediately, and they're like, oh my God, no one will ever do any of this. And then at the end, Trump gets some concession that was obviously impossible on day one. And everybody's like, well, but he didn't get everything he wanted. And that is going to happen again, because that happens literally every time.
My favorite part, Don, is when you ask leftists who freak out about it every time if they've read it, and they go, well, yeah, I read it, but it was just a bunch of dumb claptrap, what do you call it, like aphorisms and stuff. I'm like, yes. And he does them every time.
I mean, you could set your watch by this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It's now, that said, of the various things Trump has said, are we going to get all of it? No. Even, some of the things that probably seemed reasonable along the way, we won't get, because nobody cared about them to begin with. It was just like, hey, put everything, including the kitchen sink, in here, and we'll see what we can get out of it. There's these 5 things, and we want these 5 things. But if we tell them we want 250 things, they're going to knock off 100 straight out the gate, and we're fine with that.
It gives them an opportunity to save face, right?
Exactly. And
now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The nuclear program thing is going to be difficult because whether anybody wants to admit it or not, it is colloquial wisdom, whether or not it's true, that if you don't want to be regime changed by America, it seems that the thing you need most is a nuclear weapon. And again, regardless of whether or not that's true, people believe it. And if people believe it, that's enough. And so there's going to be, much like the Vietnam War, we didn't lose it on the battlefield in Vietnam. We lost it, on the streets of New York. and the same problem is going to exist here.
So the 15-point U.S. plan has not been officially released, but it's been kind of leaked out there. So this is what I'm hearing is the American plan: 30-day or 1-month ceasefire, permanent commitment by Iran to never develop or pursue nuclear weapons, complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear capabilities and facilities, which kind of goes in line with what we were saying, Joe. Ban on uranium enrichment on Iranian soil. Ironic. Hand over transfer of all enriched uranium stockpiles. Full IAEA access and enhanced monitoring. Limits on Iran's ballistic missile program. Cessation of support for regional proxy groups. End of Iranian strikes or attacks on regional energy facilities and infrastructure, guaranteed safe and open maritime traffic, especially the full reopening and freedom of navigation to the Straits of Hormuz. No reimposition threat. Let's see. The U.S. assistance for Iran's civilian nuclear program. Helping develop electric generation, which is something that I would be not opposed to, but I wouldn't be willing to give the current administration any nuclear access to nuclear power. Lifting of nuclear. Yeah. I mean, if you had a regime change and a new civilian democratic regime, and once they got their shit together, then maybe we could help them with that stuff. But I don't fucking know why they would need it. You got plenty of natural gas. Just fucking use natural gas for your energy needs.
Well, the short answer to that is Germany.
What do you mean?
Thank you.
So the Germans back in like 2006 or whatever decided that nuclear was the end of the world, and they were going to, right? And every time there's the tiniest hiccup in natural gas, specifically flow, the Germans are losing their mind and begging everybody, and their power bills are through the roof.
And they have to be. They have to be, because this has happened in the winter before, and like they haven't talked about it much because it's embarrassing. But they had a shit ton of elderly people freeze to death.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Anyway, these all sound completely reasonable to me, if you ask me. But then again, what do I know? All right. So there is the White House has published the Iranian statement. So kind of like companion to the two previous statements we read. So that's it right there in the private chat. Watcher, I just dropped it.
Picking it up. Sorry, I had this video queued up. Yeah, there we go.
All right, here we go. Official statement of Iran. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express the gratitude and appreciation of my dear brothers, the Prime Minister of Pakistan Sharif, and the Field Marshal Munir of the tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request by them, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on a 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiation, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Straits of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces. When you have to say that your armed forces are powerful, they're not powerful. I'm just saying.
Correct.
And even in here, they want to continue to basically say, oh, well, you've got to check with us before you go through the street.
This was like a guy saying, I have a large penis. And everyone's like, nobody asked you.
That's I just don't want to go down that road.
Okay, I have a girlfriend in Canada. Okay, nobody asked you.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay.
I think Scott has just told us more about himself than he intended to.
Hey Scott, I'm going to do something right here on the show as bribery. Okay, if
sure.
you
Let's
do
go.
actually make it in July, I will give you this.
Ooh, it's even my favorite color. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
IFAC pouch. So
It's an IFAC. Oh, that's cool.
It's IFAC pouch. There's no IFAC in it.
No, yeah, I got plenty of IFAC stuff here. So
this holds. I know from personal experience, it holds a Solitac PTK just fine. So,
all right. Oh, and Keir. Oh, it's so cute, guys. Keir Starmer has released a statement on the 2-week ceasefire.
Oh
no, but nobody cares.
yeah,
enough.
hold on. Shoot. I hope I can find it. I have a video here of basically the UK's new role in NATO. But again, give me a second. I gotta find it.
You have a video? It's
yeah,
just a picture of the cuck chair.
No, it's not even the cuck. It's not even the cuck chair anymore. The cuck chair means you have a position. Now it's just like the cleanup boy. You know, the boys cleanup boy.
Keir Starmer is a statement, and the entire world rolls their eyes.
Oh, here we go. Here it is. This is a graphic demonstration of the UK's new role in NATO.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Bring it together and push it off. Yeah, there you go. Good job.
There we are.
I love it. I love it. That's very apt. Let's see.
What's going to be funny is that the left is going to go nuts and say, "How dare Donald Trump make a ceasefire? He can't even do that right." Right.
All right. So here is something that's come out this morning from Donald Trump. So let's. I want to say I think there was multiple statements that came out from him this morning. I want to make sure we get all of them.
Boy, we made show notes and then we made show notes, huh?
I know, right? All right. Okay, so this if you go to if you open the rapid response account, this one right here, and then you'll go down and you'll find the same thing. There's another one that goes like right with it. So those are the two I'll read here. I'll read them in order. All right, so well, it's literally just right above it. I mean, you probably if you had scrolled for 2 more seconds, you would have found it. Right there, like I said. All right, the first one up here. The United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will be working with Iran, dig up and remove all the deeply buried B-2 bombers, nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance, Space Force. I love how he drops these things in there. Nothing has been touched from the date of the attack. We are and will be taking tariff and sanction relief with Iran. Talking tariff and sanction relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then he says, a country supplying military weapons to Iran will immediately be a country, not like countries, a country. So he's already got a target here. Will immediately be tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of 50% effective immediately. There will be no exclusions or exemptions. Now, the funny thing is that isn't there a national security tariff in those accepted tariff policies that we talked about as the other tariffs that were not struck down by the Supreme Court? This is kind of a funny opportunity for Trump to be able to pull out his tariff gun when he connects it directly to this Iranian regime. So some irony
I think that this addresses a concern most of us have, especially those of us who have known anything about Iran in the last I don't know, since 1979, however long that is that they're most likely just going to use this 2 weeks to rearm and refit and kind of shuffle the pieces around on the chessboard. And what he's doing is he's warning nations against helping them do that.
Right. Specifically China, which has already been giving them lethal aid in recent weeks.
But so has Russia. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think Turkmenistan also kind of falls in that as well, but that may be helping Russia. Earl Corgi for $9.99 says, speaking of Britain, long live the Malvinas, LOL.
Never mind. I'm going to shut up.
What?
Principles are principles no matter what and no matter who's in charge. I'm just going to say that.
All right. Let us, all right, let's see. I think I got all my extra note stuff done. Let's go back. So 2 weeks ceasefire. So we did see immediate breaking of the ceasefire, both by Iran and allies. Now, I have not heard anything about U.S. forces dropping bombs after the ceasefire. So maybe we're actually following our end of the deal. And evidently, we turned around B-52s out of England because they landed in England with full bomb loads. Let's see here. It says U.S., Iran, Israel agreed a 2 week ceasefire. Tehran will allow safe passage via Hormuz for 2 weeks. And I guess the price of oil has dropped like a fucking rock in the last 24 hours or so. I haven't been really following it that much, but
I filled up my tank 3 hours before that.
I would like that to have some effect at the pump because
unfortunately
yesterday I was like, whoa.
What are you guys chat? If you've got gas prices put them in the chat. What do you got, Watcher?
We're getting over 5.
Yeah. 409.
Yeah, we're over 5 here in Korea for regular, which I thought was a little on the high side. I'm driving a rental car right now, so of course I don't put high tests in a rental car.
I will forego
685
gas prices.
Yeah, here we go. It's starting
I'd like to remind everyone that Scott's really nice car was hit by an Asian woman driver. I'm just
don't get me fucking started. I think I already showed pictures of it. My trauma runs deep. The Ninja State of Ohio, 379. Just over 7 for diesel, 549 for gas. You know what's crazy? You want to know the first time I ever saw $5 gas? This is going to blow your mind, right? You'd think, oh, well, what, back in like the 2000s or something like that? Oh, no. It was in the fucking mid-90s in Central California.
Like we came. That doesn't count.
Yeah, no.
Exactly right. No. But California has always been a fucking ripoff for gas.
Okay. So back when, so I lived in California at this time, and back when gas was $2.89 or something, where I lived in Northern California, the gas station that you're talking about was $4.89.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, like there were these regions of super high gas, right? And there was all these, it's because there's no mom and pop shops or whatever. But I think it was a lot of, basically along the major highways is where they basically screwed. Scott lives in South Korea right now, but not too much longer. Let's see. Mega Mavass again says was for $9.99 says was $3.99 this morning on my way back to work for regular, but also has severely affected my stocks. I've lost $10.
Tens of dollars.
I lost tens of dollars. Never mind financial recovery. I may never find. Yeah. I'm with you, brother. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you guys. I rarely ever even look at gas prices. it's like I need gas and I go in and I fill the fucking tank up and I know I can afford it. And while it may be more than it was last week or less than last week, it's not going to stop me from filling the tank up, right? And so that's just like, like I'll go for the cheap. I'll go to the place that I know has the cheapest gas, but
Well, my problem is I live way out in the sticks, and it's like 40 cents more expensive down here than it is if I drove to town. But I'm not driving an hour to get cheaper gas.
Just to get cheaper gas, right? You just go when you need it. Yeah. Let's see. 341 at Sam's Club. $1.59 per liter Canadian pesos.
We don't know how to do snow Mexican money math.
Yeah, Scott out there being a big spender. That's right. I'm gonna buy gas no matter what it costs.
Yeah, that's true.
I just fill her up. Keep the change, my man. All right.
Well, as long as Scott is going full big spender, maybe I will post gas prices. It's I too live out in the middle of nowhere, and it's $3.30 a gallon.
Well, we get that kind of weird contract gas through through AFES. So
there is.
So if you look at if Watcher in that story that we were just sharing, you've already moved on. All right, well, it doesn't matter. It's going to just show that it's okay. We're just showing it had gas oil prices on it. It just shows the chart. It's like a fucking looked like fucking the Bear Stearns stock thing in 2008. All right. Here's the next one. This is that ceasefire. Oh, no, this is no ceasefire.
Oh,
the first one. No, yeah. That's cluster munitions. Iran just launched first nonstop missile barrage. Is the one with JD Vance. You're on the wrong one.
Oh, I must have gone past it. Hold on. Let me re-pull it from the notes.
Can I share while he's pulling up the right one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Share a life hack to getting around gas prices. Have 3 500-gallon fuel bunkers.
And do a contract the gas delivery.
Once a year. And,
wait, didn't you already show this CNN piece? I thought you already showed this.
No, this is different. This is the Israeli missile strike.
The sirens are now wailing over Tel Aviv, indicating that another missile is inbound, and it looks like those bright lights in the sky are the missiles, and it looks like you can see an interceptor that is in
and they're coming right at me. It's in hot pursuit.
And it's always quite dramatic when you see those interceptors going after it. And these ones might disappear behind our building here. We're going to lose sight of them. But they're still quite lethal and coming into Tel Aviv. And I didn't see an interception in this case. Should be able to hear it in a second or so. And it's still quite lethal when there's an interception. Most of what we see out here are those cluster bombs in recent days. But when you get a conventional warhead with that powerful explosive, obviously you hope that the interceptors can get it. And the interceptors are about 90% effective. But that means 10% get through. And those conventional warheads we've seen are quite powerful. They leave great craters in the ground. Still waiting to hear the impact on this one, which should come any second. But we saw 2 lights in the sky. There. And there was another flash off in the distance here.
Iran just launched non-stop missile barrages on Tel Aviv less than 2 hours after the ceasefire began. They also attacked Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain. So much for peace. While Trump held off strikes to give diplomacy a chance, the Iranian regime responded by raining missiles on civilians and breaking the agreement immediately. Where is the outrage from the same people who screamed about escalation? This regime only understands strengths. Trump was right from the start. Yeah, so I mean, that's the sentiment is correct. None of the people who are complaining about Trump's use of force is complaining about Iran's dysfunctional military apparatus. So dysfunctional, the missile forces probably had no fucking idea about the ceasefire.
I love how you're
but-
willing to give the Iranian regime credit for being good and claiming that these are rogue commanders firing missiles.
No. I don't. I think they're all fucked up. Is what I think it is. Is as much likely, or it's exactly what you just said. It's IRGC guys that are like, fuck them. We don't agree to any ceasefire. We're just gonna keep, shooting our missions. So
I think it's more with a wink and a nod. They're like, hey, go ahead and keep
Oh,
shooting. We'll just tell them we didn't know. You didn't know that we knew that they knew, right?
Well, yeah, this is a lot like those Russian and Ukrainian ceasefires. Remember when they were trying to, I guess it was about this time last year that they were trying to get some peace thing going, and they would do a ceasefire, and then in Ukraine and Russia would literally start firing, like within minutes of the ceasefire taking place. It's like, okay, well, so what's for the ceasefire?
Iran's never going to actually abide by a ceasefire. It's just
I tend to agree with you. I think what you said earlier is the right take here, Joe. I think they're basically.
I didn't actually mean it.
No. What I'm saying is when you said that they're just kind of stalling to kind of rearm and re-equip. Yeah. I think that's exactly what they're trying to do.
That's 100% what they're doing. Yeah.
Right. And I knew you weren't joking at that point. So.
Yeah.
I mean, to the people who won't criticize Iran, this is the same thing every time. It's if America makes a mistake, it is because America is evil and obviously knew better and was demonstrating how terrible they are. And whomever America's enemies are can do pretty much anything, and it's fine. Like, well, they're a third world army anyway, so how much can we possibly expect from them? Yes, I understand that they were burning children in cages, but it's really, I mean, it's not the same thing at all. America should know better and just be better than that.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving on to the next one here. Cluster musicians. This is part of that same kind of post ceasefire, non-ceasefire. These are cluster munitions deployed from ballistic missiles. Don, one of the things I thought it was really interesting that they kind of cracked these out. This was something that was fairly new that we hadn't seen. And these aren't quite your MIRVs or anything like that, but these are definitely like designed to be hard to intercept.
Everything, I mean, honestly, everything is designed to be hard to intercept at the time that it was created.
Yeah.
But we very clearly have reached the everyone is breaking out the cool toys portion of this, which it's hard to tell whether or not that is like relevant desperation from everyone involved. Though, if that is the case, I can't help but notice that the Iranians are not sinking aircraft carriers.
Yeah, or the Tripoli, like they've claimed to have hit, right?
Right.
Right.
Which I was informed before this war began that if we got into a war with Iran, they would sink all of Americans' aircraft carriers because something hypersonic missiles, which definitely were not propagandistic
that's just
bullshit.
Difference of opinion, Don, because they have very clearly told everyone they have sank the Ford 9 times.
That's true. And truth be told, I guess we ought to be impressed at their capability to sink an aircraft carrier more than once, let alone 9 times.
And there's a guy in the RGC saying, look, we are telling the truth. Ford is dead. And so is Lincoln. We sunk them both. Those poor guys. They do try hard.
They are, in fact, tryhards.
I ran it. They are famous to be as tryhards. Let's see. Yeah. So this is speaking of no chill, this is the UAE basically said, "Fuck your ceasefire. You shoot missiles at us, Iran, after the ceasefire. This is what we do to you." Iran's Lavon oil refiner on Syria Island is burning, and Iran is blaming the UAE for the attack. And they just fired missiles and drones at the UAE and Kuwait. Their air defenses were active as he wrote this. Not sure what to make of this. Are factions of Iran seeking to continue the war, or is Iran getting their revenge on the Gulf natures they saw being closer to the U.S.? Here's what I think. I don't think this is. So the UAE has basically completely said that they didn't have anything to do with this, which I find to be interesting. I don't know if I totally believe them. It's kind of like, how a Muslim is lying to you was his lips are moving.
Right.
But I'll give them let's see. There's a UAE statement out there. Basically what their statement is basically, let's see. That's Syria.
The
basically,
pretty much what the fuck, you psychopaths.
Yeah. I thought I had it earlier, but all right. Anyway, basically what they said was they shot down 17 Iranian ballistic missiles and 35 drones, but did not attack any oil facilities. Did they maybe not attack the oil facilities and Iran did? It would be really easy for them to just drop missiles on their own oil stuff to kind of queer the deal, if you will. Would I put that past the Iranians? Absolutely not. It kind of goes to what Joe said. If they make a deal and then they will do something immediately to either A, break it, or make you look bad like you're breaking it. Here we go. The Ministry of Defense announced on April that UAE air defense engaged the ballistic missiles since the ongoing of this blatant Iranian attack. These attacks, no martyrs or fatalities have been reported in the last. So basically they're saying that they just did the intercepts and nothing else. All right. Speaking of secret weapons and people breaking out the cool guy shit, Don, evidently, have you heard of this ghost murmur thing?
Yeah, I probably as much as you and nothing more.
Well, right. And so here's the thing, and it sounds kind of like bullshit to me, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Just because it sounds like sci-fi doesn't mean.
As a person who I couldn't build one or anything, but I understand from the schooling that I went through for electronic engineering the basics that underlie what this is. And as far as I had understood, the best we have ever produced in lab settings under ideal conditions is we can do this at about a foot.
Well, I think that it's a little bit better than that, but it is not anywhere near 1 mile, let alone 40 miles. It might be 100 feet, 150 feet, but it really can't be detected from any further than that.
Yeah, I've seen I don't know if they were heartbeat sensors, but they were like motion detectors that could see through walls and things like that. But not
right.
Not this.
But that's not even this. This is they're claiming that this is quantum magnetometry, which allows them to lock onto a very specific signal and all this. That's, as far as I understood it, the range on that kind of stuff is retardedly limited.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. It's like hearing a voice in a stadium, except the stadium is thousands of square miles of desert. In the right conditions, if your heart is beating, we'll find you. Ghost Murmur was reportedly developed by Lockheed Martin Scope Works and has been tested on Black Hawk helicopters with possible future use on F-35 stealth jets. The name is deliberate. Murmur is a clinical term for a heart rhythm. Ghost refers to finding someone who, for all practical purpose, has disappeared. The source continued, it was about as clean an environment as you could ask for because of the low electromagnetic interference, almost no competing human signatures. At night, the thermal contrast between the living body and the desert floor, which gave operators a secondary confirmation layer. Normally, this signal is so weak it can only be measured in a hospital setting with sensors pressed nearly against the chest. but advances in the field known as quantum magnetometry, specifically sensors built around microscopic defects in the synthetic diamonds, have apparently made it possible to detect these signals at a dramatically greater distance. The capability is not omniscient. It works best in a remote, low-clutter environment and requires significant processing. And supposedly this is AI enabled, so it's like the AI piece. Yeah. It says here, sources describe Ghost Murmur as able to detect something as faint as a human heartbeat's magnetic signal at long distances in complex environments using AI to filter through the noise.
Or, and hear me out on this, he activated his rescue radio and they honed in on that beacon. It's one of those two things.
Yeah, well, right. It's ironically enough, literally after that quote of that guy, he says, before Ghost Murmur went operational, Dude 44 Bravo activated Boeing Combat Evader Locator, or C-Cell, secure communications device that can transmit encrypted location and status burst without exposing his position to enemy forces. So, yeah, I mean, that might be it too.
Yeah. So the other, I hate to be this guy, but like this sounds like the kind of thing we release when we have something else that was far more practical and far more obvious, but we don't want to reveal sources on the ground. And so we come up with some kind of bullshit explanation of crazy technology to send our enemies chasing down a wild fucking goose chase and spending billions of dollars on something that's not real.
It's like the cover story of the UFO in Roswell for all the secret aircraft we were developing in the 50s.
Yes,
exactly right.
All right.
Or you know what? I'll give you an even better one. It's like the hardtack gun.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
This is the president talking. Let's see. It says here the CIA was responsible for finding this little speck, the president said, adding the CIA spotting the missing American from 40 miles away. That all may be true, but I don't know that he did it because of his heartbeat. It's kind of like, I think this is what you call a limited hangout, right? Like you give them something, it's the Moat and Bailey type deal. You give them something, but you keep the other thing.
I'll tell you the other thing to watch for that this honestly makes me think. Like, this is the type of thing that is true enough that if I am a dumb journalist or a person who's not loyal and just looking to leak stuff to create a sensational story, I can compare it and go, oh, this does exist. This does exist. It's real. I can send this out. But if you actually are a technician and know about what they're talking about, you go, that's not real. You can't do that. It sounds like a canary trap.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting if it's a canary trap. That would be really interesting, actually, because they are in the leak hunter mode. If you didn't catch that thing the other day. All right. That is all right. Moving on to Iran war, miscellaneous stuff. Watcher, we've got. When I think of places to hide my we've already covered this one. This is enough because he's basically talking about the rescue. When I think of places to hide my heavy equipment, military equipment, I think amusement parks. I mean, that's clearly where you would normally hide that stuff, right? Right next to specifically, Joe, right next to the bouncy castle. Which is exactly what they've done here. IRGC is stationing heavy military equipment, personnel, and vehicles. Do you not have this one, Watcher? It's got video.
Sorry, I was muted. Pulling it up now.
All right.
I was having issues with my tabs.
Yeah, right there next to the bouncy castle, the regime invests itself in playgrounds and theme parks, putting children directly in danger, using them as human shields, and then exploiting the aftermath for propaganda when the strikes hit. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know that there's a lot of kids in the middle of the night at a IRGC theme park, but it would definitely look bad if we blew the dog shit up of the theme park, even if we did it in the middle of the night. This is a pattern as its military sites have been struck across Iran. The regime embeds itself deeper in civilian infrastructure, from schools to mosques to hospitals. And I'll be honest with you, I've been happy to see that once they identify military occupation of mosques, the mosques no longer are protected sites and are being targeted.
Oh my God! Finally,
I know.
Before we move on, I just want to. We're here. We're seeing a Hamas themed, theme park. Is anybody else thinking the obvious question?
What's the obvious question?
Where's the Aloha snack bar?
Well, it just blew up.
Yeah. They're shutting down for obvious reasons, I guess. All right. Let's see. What do we got next here? Here we go. This is interesting. So, evidently, in the power and infrastructure strike plan, Israel, their piece of this was going to be the railroad infrastructure. And so this is interesting. Leaked audio reveals the truth. Before striking the railroad infrastructure in Iran, Israel directly called the Iranian train station managers. They warned them to evacuate all the personnel, stop civilians from boarding the trains. Why? Because the Islamic Republic had maliciously cut the internet to keep citizens in the dark and put them in danger. Think about the staggering contrast. IRGC begs families to send their children to act as human shields, while Israel makes direct phone calls to bypass the internet blackout and save Iranian lives.
محمدی خوب هستید؟ سلام قربان شما. مرسی آقای محمدی شما الان راهان هستید؟
I mean, I just got to take their word for what they're talking about here, but what you're seeing are pictures of rail infrastructure. Well, you were until Watcher took it away. There we go.
ببینید
Just muted.
لطفاً.
Yeah, so they basically here this is all rail infrastructure that's been struck by Israeli attacks. And this is a TTP that the Israelis have used for a long time, right? Like the old in Gaza, what they used to do is drop a small bomb on top of a building that didn't do any kind of internal damage. That would basically scare everybody out of the building, and then 15 minutes later, they drop a JDAM that would drop the whole building. They would also call people in the affected areas or send out those text messages via cell phone to the people in the area, letting them know exactly where the address of strikes and things like that would occur. So it doesn't surprise me that they would continue to do that here. All right.
Got to pick
segment
apart that
2
infrastructure.
What's that?
Got to pick apart that logistics infrastructure.
So section 2 here. This is Clash of Cultures. I got a couple different sections here. We've got Indians, Muslims, and then urban. We can go through this quickly because we're at 2 hours. So I don't want to keep you guys too long here. But this is
Hi, my name is Ankita. I'm here to address the hateful and racist folks who feel confident and protected enough to come up here on the mic consistently across multiple meetings in Frisco, Plano, and Irving to disparage immigrants and repeatedly put targets on the back of the Frisco community members. People are watching these meetings from all over the world, and these racist remarks are going viral on social media. People are also observing the absence of an intervention. People come up here and disparage Indian immigrants with no consequences. I saw last meeting, someone who came up here was called out for briefly flashing a light because it was a disturbance. And I know that these racist remarks don't physically harm, anyone up here, but it does harm people, outside of this courtroom. It puts a target on people's backs. And so I want to answer this question: why do immigrants come to this country? Well, immigrants come to the U.S. in search of better lives, but instead of welcoming them, the government crushes their hopes and dreams with oppression.
Oh my God. I can't.
All right.
I can't.
This is
all the way off.
This is a tale of two speakers, right? So you get like the one side, right? Now they go to the next one.
Like my eyes went cross listening to her.
with Collin County Point USA chapters.
This is by the way, this is the same meeting.
Voice my concern and frankly disgust with the H-1B increase in my fine county. This isn't a racism conversation. It's a statistical and risk prevention conversation. So many natural-born Americans have lost their job to someone who won't do good work, but will work for next to nothing just to come here legally. I'm in IT. Am I going to lose my job because I'm too expensive for high, good quality work? That's just gross. It's almost disgusting to walk into my classroom and see a substitute teacher who can't speak English wearing a hijab. I had to Google Translate English to Hindu to go to the bathroom because my teacher couldn't understand me. According to the U.S. State Department, Iran spends $20 billion a year making sure their proxy terrorists are ready to go into full explosive effect at any time, any place, the Middle East and the U.S. This news is almost everywhere, especially with the ongoing conflict we have in Iran. Right now, with these increasing gas prices. ISIS put out a special message for Easter to all their proxies, saying to go kill and disrupt churchgoers over the resurrection weekend. Ew. Many students like myself and other Collin County residents see this and begin feeling very uncomfortable. I don't want potentially aggressive people in my classroom, my church, or my workplace. The Quran literally says to kill non-Muslim Islam believers. My question is, why risk it? Why risk your life on an ideology instead of caring about?
That's enough. I just thought it was good to kind of hear two separate speakers at the same thing to see that there are both, I guess, ignorant and informed people at these. Well, she's not ignorant. She knows exactly what she's doing. And this next one, this is the irony, right? So this woman that's going to speak next is a Muslim. So you would think, oh, I'll roll my eyes, Muslim, right? She is a U.S. consulate officer in India and says there's an entire industry in India of fraudulent H-1B visas to get into. So we're going to weaponize her Islam against the Hindus that she has to give visas to.
Everybody and their mother wanted to go to the United States. I saw the cracks and I warned people when I served in India, what I saw in terms of industrialized fraud, there is a huge back industry where you have storefronts after storefronts focused on basically creating fraudulent documents, fake transcripts, fake bank statements, fake degree certificates to use the visa loophole to cut the line and actually emigrate to the US. And the H-1B visa is a guest worker visa. It's a temporary status visa. But these are not exemplary individuals. These are run-of-the-mill people. They get sashayed into the OPT program, and then they get preferential treatment by the Silicon Valley managers. We were just like so overwhelmed that there was this pressure to issue. We don't have that luxury of time. But there were politicians, whether from South India arena or from Delhi itself, saying you need to issue visas. Even if that individual is not qualified, we had this ludicrous pressure to say, if that person is not a terrorist, go ahead and issue.
Out of all, shut it down permanently.
100%.
All the 50,000 plus visa applications, how many of those were legitimate?
Easily between 70 to 80%. That was my denial rate. Everyone's benefiting in this whole system, right? Like there's kickbacks that everyone gets. The H-1B manager, they would prefer their own Indian people because it's not about, because the Indians are the best and the brightest. Bribery is quite normalized. I saw a lot of H-1Bs as well as J-1s who have bought their seats into medical school. That sort of stuff does not jive with our values.
Are these H-1B visa holders superior to Americans in every way imaginable?
Absolutely not in screaming letters, NOT.
So I was not expecting that when I saw her and I started playing that video. I thought that was pretty good. Somebody who was was inside that whole thing.
No, she's like, you shouldn't be using these to bring in Indians. You should be using them to bring in my people.
Pakistanis and right. But I mean,
hold on. Before we move on from not acknowledging that, this is a brilliant strategy. How have we never considered this before? Immigration officers for a country need to be from that country's natural enemy.
What?
The Indians may only be screened through Pakistanis. The British may only be screened through Irish or French, right? You get a choice.
That's there you go. I like it. Well, there's an elegance to it, Watcher. I mean, all right, moving on to Muslims in Texas. Speaking of Muslims, so I mean, let's be honest. We're all thinking it. So let's. I don't know why he just doesn't come out of the closet here. Let's look at this first clip.
But it's not just mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job. This is not a theocracy. We don't go to war with other theocracies to find out which theocracy is more effective.
Don, can you explain the evolution of Tucker Carlson, or Al-Takari, as we're labeling him now?
And so there has been a growing sentiment that effectively can be distilled down to America bad. And I know that probably sounds a little George Bushian to some of you, and I don't care. This is the same thing we were discussing a minute ago when it was, hey, we hit the wrong building, therefore America is evil terrorists. Yes, I understand that they're barbecuing children, but they're third world shitholes, so like whatever, no one cares. The practical reality is, if you go sit and listen, and I have, so I'm not just talking out of my ass, to Carlson talk, the only through line, realistically speaking, is that if America did something, it wasn't good. Oh, and by the way, America is failing. You can hear him talk about this when it's, well, America needs to plan on surrendering their sovereignty or military capability on any part of the planet, because the people with diesel aircraft carriers who managed to shit out a whole boatload of them over a weekend, even though they would fall apart if you shot slingshots at them, are going to take it from us. Now, that might sound retarded, but if you go back and you look at those great welding videos of Chinese aircraft carriers, pretty unironically, there's like 6 to 8 inch gaps between support beams that they're welding. Yeah. If you do any welding ever in your life, you know that's a terrible idea. If you have seen a welder ever, like if you've walked through Home Depot and seen a welder, you know factually that is the worst thing you could possibly do.
And that's on their aircraft carriers, the prides of the fleet.
Exactly. And by the way, for those that don't understand, diesel aircraft carriers are a massive problem.
Like waste of time in modern.
You literally have to have a oil tanker following you around everywhere you go, essentially.
Exactly. And by the way, go ahead, Watcher.
No, I was just going to say, and it's not like they can't build nuclear reactors because they can.
Right. But here's the thing: you not only do you have to have this thing following you around, you have to have a giant supply of tankers following your fleet around. And by the way, they have to be moving back and forth and protected at all times, because if you interrupt even a small percentage of them, your fleet can no longer project power of any variety. And by the way, these are also the people with the hypersonic missiles that are going to sink the American aircraft carriers that also are the ones providing the Iranians weapons that Trump is targeting with the 50% tariff thing. And for some reason, we're not sinking American aircraft carriers, even though this would be a perfect opportunity to demonstrate Chinese weapons supremacy.
Yeah,
they couldn't possibly suffer any serious effects from that they're not already going to suffer just because Trump loves tariffs.
Well, Don, I don't know if you heard the statement Hegseth gave shortly before we went on the show today, but Hegseth said, and I've heard this from multiple other sources before this, it's just not in a way that I could, it's not concrete, so I can't report it. They've fired more missiles at our aircraft carriers than they've fired at almost anything else, and not a single one has got within 20 miles.
I am shocked,
which says to me that China has literally been flooding them with missiles and basically just said, send it all, baby.
Right. Which, by the way, the practical reality is, in these kind of proxy war, gay opportunity things, like The Russians gave things to the Vietnamese. The Chinese are giving things to the Iranians because they do want to know the practical reality, not some shit they got written down on a spreadsheet about how effective their weapons are. They want to know whether or not they work. And for some reason, all this stuff is still floating. I have no idea why. But again, these are the people who are going to dethrone the Republic because, in short, you have to believe a mountain of propaganda about basically everything that has been going on in the world for about the past 100 years, so that you can just say America sucks at fighting, America's bad, blah, 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 blah.
No.
And that way, you can be on this popular trend, which sadly I was there to see effectively start.
Yeah.
Fuck Curtis Yarvin, stuff him back in a wall locker, and rape him to death.
For all time. Thank you. Get on it, Grok. Before we move on, though, can I just say, it's almost as if what Watcher has been saying for a long time, that they are literally taking point for point the exact talking points that were fed to the left by their Chinese and European handlers and are point for point recreating it from a rightist perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
And that is literally what it is. I sat and watched this be developed in a tiny section of the internet, and I asked the same questions that you're asking now, right? Well, like, if that's the case, then why do things keep working out the way they do? If, so much so that, I don't know, 8 years ago, I developed the phrase, the right is not the left, plus I hate fags, because that's what it is.
Let's go preventive for $1 says the anti-American current deep state regime people almost always become only anti-American. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, it's because they realize that people who are pro-American literally are in direct opposition to all the things that they want to do, and in order to do the things they want to do, they have to essentially get rid of the people who love America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all that it implies, right? Like Christianity, guns, freedom of speech, like all the things that are the principles that make up America at the base layer.
Well, no, hold on. It's worse than that. We didn't even include his latest one, because last night he brought on some cuck that basically was telling us that, hey, if you're Christian, you can't be a capitalist. Christ calls on us to be socialists. I'm legitimately to the, hey, let's put him on trial stage.
Christ calls us to be socialists, huh?
Yeah.
Second Thessalonians. Yet even when we were with you, we had this one rule. He who does not work shall not eat. That doesn't sound very socialist to me.
You don't think that is just a paraphrase of from each according to his ability to each according to his need? I mean, I don't understand, man. It basically sounds the same.
All right. There's some interesting stuff coming. I was looking at the clips, by the way, Watcher, coming out of that press conference that you were referring to. Pretty good stuff.
Right. Hold on. But we can't just mention that and then move on, because there's one clip that came out of that press conference that you've been holding for us the entire time, and we didn't mention it during the Iran war segment, and it counts here, and it's a cultural artifact. God damn it.
Brown coat is on top.
The record of expenditures, Scott.
Oh yes, yeah. I forgot. I thought that was in there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's. Where is that? I thought that was under the miscellaneous portion, but I guess it got deleted somehow. Or maybe
I'll find it.
Yes.
Oh, I just found an updated. While you're looking for that, actually, I just found an updated Tucker Carlson photo. He apparently posted this today. Things are progressing quickly for him, I feel.
There's not a single Western city that's thriving. And they're all degrading in exactly the same way.
Right.
I mean, and they're like a lot of things, but self-hatred. Every city, crazy. Every European city, every American city.
Oh, Watcher. All right, find the coffee post.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Caffeine? That's got to be the search term I need for this. Military caffeine.
Oh my God.
Oh man, X's search function is garbage.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, Watcher.
Oh, hey, as long as we're discussing X for a moment, some of us are still getting banned for cracking jokes on X.
Oh, are you still banned?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
This
so
is
weird.
awful. I thought.
No, so here, Watcher, I'm going to tell you that you suck at searching because I literally got it. I put in 2 words and got it at the top of my search.
Which ones did you get? Oh, hey, it came up that time. I did it a 3rd time, and it came up on the top of the search this time.
Cane and coffee.
Ah, cane. See, that would have probably done it. Military caffeine worked out. It's just it didn't. I had to search it 3 times.
Here we go.
We consume more than 6 million meals, and by my estimate, more than 950,000 gallons of coffee, 2 million energy drinks, and a lot of nicotine. But I am not saying that we have a problem.
We have a solution.
You know what? This is the way military briefings ought to be. Right?
That's exactly right. Oh my God.
That's honesty right there.
This is whoever is his PAO that said yes sir. That's a good joke.
The defense industry, the Department of War, is now the largest single buyer of Rippets in the universe.
I mean, that's only been true for like 20 years.
The other services come in after the Marine Corps.
Joe, as a combat veteran of multiple 9-month deployments, I can tell you that your hatred for the enemy only goes so far. At some point, you need chemical stimulants. And since they won't give us meth, Rippets tend to be the choice.
The substitute of choice, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of love for that. I'm seeing a lot of people posting that love. That just clearly they love that. Oh, shoot. All right, let's move on. Texas is investigating. Oh my God, Don, what the fuck are you guys doing in Texas? Texas investigating Islamic tribunal for allegedly operating Sharia law court. Yeah, this is so this is Ken Paxton. I'll be honest with you, Ken Paxton is not done everything that I love, but compared to your fucking governor. He seems like base stick man going around beating people about the head with
he really
with a baseball bat.
So I'm gonna do a thing, and I'm only gonna do it once, which is here, which is to say, Texas, I love you. You have been great since I moved here. However,
but there's a but.
I learned very quickly when I moved here that basically all of you are to the left of me. Okay?
How do you think I feel in a place like South Korea?
and I need you to fix this because the guy from California should not be the guy going like, yeah, of course we're throwing them out of fucking helicopters. I should be the one showing up being like, I will volunteer 6 months of my time in the helicopter to throw the rest of the Californians out because this is the barrier to entry to get into your state. Okay? This is how it needs to be. For the love of God, come draft me to throw the leftists out of helicopters so you can be the Texas that everyone thinks that you are.
Don, hear me out. Hear me out. If you take all the Muslims that deserve to be on death row and you just put them on death row, and then have death row at the border to California, where the Californians come in, like on 10 maybe, right? And that where they all come in. And you have the death row right there. And as soon as the Californian says, okay, I need one representative from the family to step forward. Okay, I'll represent my family. I'm from California. All right, here is a pistol. Here, bring in the next prisoner. Okay, now shoot him in the head. Execute him.
My only issue with this is you had better have brought your own fucking gun. Yes, even if it is a California gun. We understand you're not to Texas yet and that you may not have been able to buy a real gun yet. But bring your California compliant AR with its goofball little wing and flap and whatever else.
Here's the thing. If you're willing to pull the trigger, they'll give you a free gun, right? You will be issued your Texas compliant firearm at that point. You'll be forced to turn. You'll be forced to melt down all your California compliant guns.
I'm fine with
because
this.
those don't deserve to live. Anyway, all right.
Exactly. No, see, this is the kind like we can debate the minutia of this policy, but the policy needs to exist.
Scott wants to turn the highway the highway into the Appian Way post servile revolt. Is that the after the third servile war? I've been reading about servile wars lately.
Why do these exist?
What the fuck are those? Are
those
those
like
winter Crocs?
Yeah.
Do you know what the answer to your question is? Mop and bucket guy at the local jerk and tug. Phil Coggins for $5 says, but watcher Robert Barnes has money on Iran sinking a carrier. Has told me the Lincoln has been sunk 47 times now. Oh my God. Does he really have money on this? I am tempted to bet against him. Like, is there a public way to bet against Robert Barnes?
What?
Chat, help me.
Do you remember when Robert Barnes used to be like
yes, and
he used to be like a legit dude? What the like back when
you're asking a question and you ask the same question about Tucker Carlson and it's literally the same answer.
Well,
they wanted in and they weren't allowed in because they weren't trustworthy and they got vetted and Trump got told no, don't let them anywhere near you. And the second they weren't allowed into the game, they all turned like rats.
Yeah. The sad thing is I haven't kept track with Viva Fry lately because he's been on the show. But the last time I saw him, he was still, as a Canadian, way more based than Robert Barnes is.
Well, so there's a couple of issues, by the way, to be slightly more charitable than Watcher. There are some of these people, and I think Barnes is at least partially one of them, though I think Watcher is still correct, that the only metric that exists to discuss America first is whether or not there's a current active war. There are no other metrics, okay? And so if there is a current active war, you are not America first. You are a paid shill of someone, who exactly is up for debate, but definitively you're a paid shill. And the simple reality from there is that you only friends you really have at that point are the America Bad crowd because they are the ones who are out there criticizing everything that's going on. And so you get the same stupid takes with slightly different justification from all of these people.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to the next one here. Let's see. Islamic Triangle in Texas. I think. This is separate. This is a different one.
Another one?
Yeah, this is a actual video about it.
The Islamization of Texas is real, very unfortunately, but it is. I'm going to show you right now some different street signs named Muslim named street signs.
Alma Salah,
Mosque, and in the area surrounding.
Medina Villas.
Houston, they called Easter a spring holiday. They refused to say it was a Christian holiday or Easter. They refused to say it was Easter. But what did they do on Eid al-Fitr? Happy Eid al-Fitr, Mayor John Whitmire. So you can enjoy the holiday if you're Muslim, and he'll name it. If you're Christian, Now, Attorney General Ken Paxton announcing he is investigating a Muslim court. It's called an Islamic Tribunal, and it's in Dallas. Have you heard of anything like this from Christians, from Mormons, from Catholics? No. Texas Scorecard reports the Islamic Tribunal is a group that claims to adjudicate disputes under Sharia law and whose rulings it describes as binding. It sounds like a court to me. The Islamic Tribunal, based in Dallas, has publicly claimed authority over all aspects of Muslim life and asserts that its decisions carry the approval of the Texas judicial system. Oh, no, they don't. A claim that state officials say is misleading and potentially illegal. Look at this. A local attorney who has worked with the tribunal says the group arbitrates in civil family matters as well as in contractual disputes. A tribunal judge's decision is referred to Texas courts for a final ruling and for enforcement, the attorney says. Are you kidding me? Can you name me any other religion in this country that has tribunals? I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to be honest, though, about the Sharia court thing. If both parties to a legal dispute consent to arbitration, it doesn't matter who does the arbitration. So I get it. It's a bad precedent to set, but it really is just arbitration between two parties of a dispute. They don't handle criminal matters. It's just like going to a lawyer for arbitration. I don't like it. It's also not. It's not legally binding on anyone unless you consent to it.
Well, that's the problem, right? Like what ability to consent does a woman have in the Muslim community behind closed doors? You know what I mean? Like that's the problem I have, is that I don't know that they are giving these people a real option to have anything different. And if you keep your people in your community stupid and take advantage of them, then which Muslims do all the time.
So let me address this thing going on in the chat. Listen, we do watch the YouTube chat, but do you want us to derail the show by asking me a question of, do you have a story of you or someone you know trying to buy chewing tobacco overseas? What? Why?
What? Yes, but it's boring.
What does that have to do with
I
the
don't
price
understand the
of
relevance
China?
of that to literally anything whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right. Robin Hood, lawyer. My client is guilty. He consents to a speedy beheading.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, and Joe's got a point. Like America has the ability to allow people to legally handle things as long as it's civil, right? But not criminal.
And if you're stupid enough to ask a Muslim court to rule for you, you deserve whatever happens.
Well, like a great example is, like, there are certain types of things that you can press charges for, but there are other types of things you can't not press charges for, right? Like,
right.
And so like, for instance, if a woman is raped, then you don't have the woman doesn't have the ability to say, well, I'm not going to press charges. Well, you cannot testify, but if there's video of him raping you, then he's going to get charged and convicted of rape, most likely.
And you can be compelled to testify.
And you could be compelled to testify. Is this you? Oh, yeah, this is me. Well, did he have sex with you? Yeah, he had sex with you. Did you let him? Well, no. I mean, okay, well, then you just testified against him. But I don't want him to get in trouble. Well, I mean, that's not up to you. Yeah. So there's definitely some problematic shit around that. All right, moving on. Yeah, here we go. I love this. This is Illinois, I believe. This next one. From this day forward, you can no longer call it Bridgeview, Illinois. It is officially Little Palestine in the community's eyes. They are erecting signs all over town. You allowed them to do this. Good luck. Welcome to Little Palestine.
I'm Rush, and we are in welcome to Little Palestine mode. This is a beautiful day for our community. As you can see, we have a sign coming up that says, welcome to Little Palestine. And alhamdulillah, for over 50 years, our families have come to Little Palestine. We eat here, we pray here, and we go to school here, but never have we had something that would be a symbol of our community. And we're very proud of this moment of a actual welcome to Little Palestine sign here at Nablus Suites right on 83rd in Harlem. And also, inshallah, we have another sign coming up on 87th in Harlem, Westfield Plaza, and also on 113th in Harlem in Worth. So as you can see right here, we're running on what we call Arabi Standard Time. Creative Signs is literally putting in the final touches of our first of Welcome to Little Palestine. And inshallah, if you're not coming to this one, we have 2 other signs we're putting up. And we appreciate you. We appreciate Chicago First for being here. And God bless everyone.
Oh, my friend, I might be coming there, but you're not going to be happy about it.
Well, I was going to say when Antifa goes after these signs, which I'm sure they will eventually. I hope
Why
our
would
Antifa.
Antifa supports the Free Gaza and Free Palestine movement.
I hope when Antifa uses explosives to blow them up and put their Antifa, stuff around there, I hope they wear masks and they don't get caught. I mean, it would be terrible if our socialist brothers in Antifa were to do that. Inshallah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I knew you would pick up when I was laying down there, Joe. I just wanted to.
This took me a second to get there. Oh man!
All right, yeah. Well, I'm sure this would be the LGBT, the Trantifa would probably not like this that much, or who knows. Continuing on. So this guy, I don't know anything about this guy, but if what I'm reading here is true, he sounds like a hero to me. I don't know. This is Representative Brandon Gill is being slammed online for saying not all cultures are created equal. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Law and radical Islam have no place in the United States. There's a fundamental truth that I think we've got to recognize, which is that not all cultures are created equal, and they are not all equally compatible with America's governing framework. The reality is that radical Islam as a political ideology has a very different conception of freedom of speech than we have in the United States, a very different conception of freedom of religion, of separation of church and state, or of mosque and state. Islam as a political ideology is inherently imperialistic, and we see that now, unfortunately, all over the Western world. Sharia law and radical Islam have.
So, I love everything he said. He needs to work on the haircut. Kind of gives him like smarmy lawyer look. But
you're not enjoying the 80s Superman cut?
Well, it's very much the kind of pomade to the side look, which is not the, if he was pomade to the back, then you could say he's going for, a different look. But hey, what, who am I to say anything about people's looks? Have you guys seen my hair lately? All right. Yeah, I totally agree with this, Don. I think we need more guys like this speaking out like this.
Look, having been around this for a while, we have a lot more than we have had ever. Go roll back 10 or 15 years, right? I mean, roll back to Bush,
roll back 5 years,
right?
Roll back 5 years ago, we didn't have people speaking out about Islam like that.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. It is, they're 15-ish, 20-ish years ago, it was Islam's the religion of peace. Then it was, we may have, if you had a bowl full of jelly beans and one of them was poisoned, how many would you eat? But pretty unironically, we are getting to the point where it's, these people are actually a problem. And if you let them in here and let them do Islamist things in the United States, we are going to have those problems. And that's just true.
Watch your thoughts.
No, I've been saying it forever. It's funny. Trump himself just posted import the third world, become the third world. So the meme is spreading.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah.
We used to have laws on the books that specifically forbid Muslims from entering the U.S. in what was called the Asiatic barred zone of the entire Middle East. They weren't allowed to come here.
If you're thinking that you don't have to be as security minded as always, if you need a reason to heighten your security awareness, these next 3 videos will go to that kind of thing. And to that end, I want to just say as an additional plug, if you haven't bought Joe's books, if you haven't got your training, it's shit like this that you're getting ready to see in these videos is the kind of stuff that is going to be occurring. If it hasn't already happened in your community, it will be happening soon. So let's watch these next 3 videos, and it just, woe is us. Huh. What's the
something about this crowd
Yeah.
that I just can't put my finger on.
Can't put my finger on it. They all appear to be scholars, going to college, maybe. I don't know, or maybe they're running to school because they're very eager. And this one kid stopped and has asked for help with his homework, I guess. I mean, okay. Let's look at the next one. Oh, this one is fucking. So this next one is like, it's tough to watch, but I think this shows you how fast a regular night can go downhill.
What's up?
This guy is fucking bleeding out,
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
and the cops don't seem to know what to do.
Clean him.
There's this other guy comes in and clearly has his wits about him.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yep,
Oh my
lay him
god.
down.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Put your shirt against it. Apply pressure. This guy's like, what do we do? I'm just gonna stand around and talk into the fucking radio.
Serious? Are you serious? Dude.
Where is this?
Dude.
This is Charlotte, North Carolina.
Dude.
I understand the reasoning.
Wilmington, I'm
all
sorry.
that, but I have never once in my life come upon somebody who was bleeding profusely and said, "Hold on, man, let me put my gloves on." You know what I mean? I get the reasoning, but I dive right in, and if someone's bleeding, I'm going to help them right now.
Well, it's like if there's 3 guys, one guy dives in and has to suck it up. The other guys can then put their fucking gloves on
and then swap out.
get it. Yeah. Right, exactly right. And there probably should be going for like gauze or whatever's in their blowout pack, or their IFAC or something like that.
Seeing that guy whip off his shirt, I famously once at a car accident, my wife and I witnessed was I'm holding this guy's really bad leg wound, and this guy runs up and says, "How can I help?" And I'm like, "Take off your hoodie and give it to me." And the guy was like, okay. And he did. So I used somebody else's hoodie to do that.
Call the cops. They'll save you. False again. All right, let's watch the last one. This last one is just fucking like, it's a downer. Sorry to leave you guys. If you want the up end of the show, the last guy bleeding out on the sidewalk of Wilmington was it. This is even worse. Because a hammer is how you end
Sweet. And he's from where again? Just remind me, because I know.
Oh, he's from Haiti.
Oh,
from Haiti.
A Haitian being just absolutely violent. Oh,
a foreign savage. This guy is a fucking savage invader from Haiti. Beat a store clerk in Fort Myers, Florida, to death with a hammer. He was given humanitarian parole and led into America by Biden.
And you're telling me he wasn't a good old Southern boy, white supremacist that is, in fact, the greatest terroristic threat to America?
He will be in the Netflix adaptation of this story.
True.
Florida man, the papers will say. You're right. 147 grains solves this problem.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you guys needed a reason to carry, and if you're not already trained, to go get some training, I'm sure Joe can point you in the right direction. If you're in North Carolina, Wilmington, there is a great facility in the state where we can get you trained if you are not carrying already. Now, here's the thing. Are you likely to be attacked? No, because we are the kind of people who are generally security minded. We stay out of stupid situations, but that doesn't mean you don't end up in a stupid situation. You could be just stopping to get gas, right, along the highway, and something stupid like this starts to happen, right? But if you're there and you see a guy with a hammer yelling at some woman and you're able to then defend the woman.
You know, we do a drill in one of the classes we teach where we show you how much distance someone can cover in the time it takes you to draw and fire 2 aimed rounds. And it's way more distance than you think they can. And letting a man armed with a hammer approach you like that unopposed is silly.
Yeah. At bare minimum, be backing up, but ideally, already be shooting him.
Yeah, there's a video of a guy with a knife that's surrounded by a bunch of police in the Philippines. I'm actually looking for the video just to see if I can find it. It's several years old though. Anyway, the point is he's surrounded by like 11 cops, right? And they're all within like everywhere from 5 to 25 feet of him, and they basically have him in a circle, right? And he's got a knife, and they all have pistols. And he stabs he stabs like half of them. One he kills before they're able to kill him because he's able to close the distance. And once you get close, then that keeps the other guys from shooting. So it's just, you can't take a fucking risk with these people. Yeah, I can't find it anyway. But so there's your Debbie Downer of the day. Total drill 21 feet. Yeah. End on a funny note. The art. Oh yeah. So can I just say America did it again? Anybody who says that America's on the decline, we have problems. Yes, we have problems. We just saw 3 videos illustrating the problems in America, right? But America as a whole there are some very positive trends occurring in America. And one of those is the Artemis 2 mission that just went around the moon. I think despite the problems, like we're talking here about the plumbing issues on the return voyage, despite any issues, they were able to get those guys around the moon and they're not back yet, but they're on their way. Should be back, I think, in two or 3 days. So space is fake and gay. Well,
they weren't able to broadcast from the far side of the moon because that's where the secret Nazi base is.
That's right. That's right.
They jam
you. They jam you. That's right.
The moon was in the way.
The line of sight. I thought line of sight works like it's a curve. The moon's gravity curves your signal.
Right.
Let's see. Mega Bob asks for $4.99. Says I understand the practice, but I also go out of my way to avoid places like that. Any less affluent members of our communities are always a threat. Here's the thing, man. You don't know who is a threat, right? And so the best way is to assume a neutral stance and to always be armed, right? Because if you're neutral, right, you are not kind of applying any bias, whether it's a negativity bias or a positivity bias or anything like that to your surroundings. You're just taking it in, taking people as they are, right? Like, so if somebody approaches you to ask you a question and he just happens to be black, that doesn't mean he's coming to stab you, right? But that being said, as soon as he starts to present a threat to you, if for whatever reason, then that's where you switch the mindset into, ready defense. Versus just kind of, observation. So, and if you see something going down between, you stop at the fucking, you're on the road, right? You stop at Cracker Barrel as one does on the road. And all of a sudden a couple starts arguing and and the guy grabs a steak knife in a threatening way. I mean, you might be the difference between her and that steak knife going in her neck. And you never know when something crazy like that's going to happen. But yes,
I don't always get to pick it either. If I'm making a cross-country trip, as I frequently do, I don't get to pick where the gas stations are. I just have to get off and go to the gas station. I don't know the history of that neighborhood. Who knows?
And even though you're stopping and get gas outside of a major city, right? And which is one of the things that I always like to do on long trips because you avoid, urban situations, right? That doesn't mean you're the gas station isn't where all the fucking crackhead meth heads.
And look, I don't stop on the reservation. It's rural and not urban, but you don't want to stop on the reservation.
No, no, you do not.
Yeah. Normalcy bias gets people into trouble. That's right. But Megos, you are right. You avoid places where you think there is a higher chance.
Yeah, don't go to stupid places at stupid times with stupid people and do stupid things. Solves 95% of your problem.
Well, it's like we tell our kids, right? Nothing good happens after midnight, right? And nothing good happens in the fucking ghetto.
No, yeah, nothing happens in that neighborhood. Oh yeah, Bessie, if you went through Browning, you were on the res, and it was not cool. Yeah.
Really, here the reservations are fine to stop at for gas.
Good for you,
West Coast, Washington. Yeah. What do you tell? Yeah. What do you tell the Ukrainian girl who got stabbed on the train? Yeah. Well, see, that's just it, right? Like, so she was not practicing any kind of active observation, right?
Yeah. I brought that up when it first happened. Look, I feel for her. She absolutely should not have been killed. But you got on a train in a rough urban neighborhood and spent all your time staring at your phone.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And like the guy they tried to push in front of the train in Washington State the other day, he was so engrossed in his phone he didn't see the guy sneaking up on him to shove him in front of a train. Don't do that. Quit the phone.
Well, it's always it always goes back to the pretty girl in a short skirt in the wrong neighborhood, right? Like, if something bad happens to her, it is not her fault. If somebody preys on her, that is the fault of the predator. That being said, when you signal yourself as a target, you will attract the attention of predators. But if you camouflage yourselves correctly, then you will avoid potential predators. So just take from that as you will. All right, we're going on 3 hours. Hey, Don, thank you for popping in. I'm glad you're feeling better, Joe, as always. And Watcher, let's go around the horn real quick, get some predictions, and then we will call it a day. Joe, look, middle of the week, where is your head at?
The ceasefire will not hold. It won't last the 2 weeks. Something will happen. So,
yeah,
that's my prediction.
All right, Don.
I'm with Joe. I would be surprised if we finish out a week.
Watcher.
I'm surprised we're not bombing them right now. If we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't think Israel's going to stop bombing Lebanon. We'll see when they say that. We'll see what happens, and I don't think it's gonna hold either. We will be back. We'll be back on Friday, same time as always, same channel. If you haven't done already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification, tell your buddies you're getting good stuff here on the Council for Future Conflict. Because, guys, the algorithm hates us. YouTube definitely doesn't promote us. Rumble, God bless them, is small. And X, well, X could be a thing, but sometimes it's not a thing. So if you would...
Sometimes you get banned for making a joke.
That's exactly right. So if you would, just let your friends know. That's the best way. When somebody they trust tells them there's good content on this channel, that's the most likely thing to get people watching. So we would appreciate it if you would help us out with that. If not, that's all right too. If you just give us a like, that'd be enough. If you just attend, we're happy to see you. So on that note, thank you guys all for being here. We'll be back on Friday. Until then, stay safe.